No, down,
Ready to go? Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
good morning.
My name's Harry St. Hours, and my wife and I recently purchased the property at 192 Flagstaff Road, which has 5 rooms and a loft. The north end of the property encompasses a tidal marsh inlet and is not a traditional waterfront property as generally defined. It's a narrow tidal inlet that's not navigable and won't accommodate a boat larger than a kayak, even at high tide. So I think there was some confusion there, perhaps, in the appraisal. The building itself is a recent rehab that turned a decaying duplex into a single-family house. The front facade still has 2 entry doors with separate locks that open into the common space. It's not an advantageous selling point, and properties comparable to this couldn't be found, so I was unable to submit something like that. Our railings and deck are in need of paint and repair, and the ramp to the rear entrance is rotting and needs to be replaced. Many of the plastic shutters on the aluminum siding are missing, and according to the property inspector's report when we purchased the home in 2001, the asphalt shingle roof is at the end of its useful life and should be replaced as soon as possible. The 2 outbuildings are rotting and moldy and couldn't be considered improvements by any definition. Water infiltration prevents these sheds from being of any practical use for storage. So we purchased this home with retirement in mind at $230,000 2 years ago. Sorry, it's 2.5 years ago now. And considering the condition of the property, we were surprised by the November assessment increase of nearly 67%, which we considered excessive at the time, having just purchased it for less. We knew our appeal could theoretically raise or lower that assessment, but were astonished to see the January response increase the assessment 20% more to 88%. Frankly, we feel that was punitive and rather insulting. We believe that if we work hard in the years to come to remedy the current defects, make improvements as we plan, that this property may near the current proposed assessment, but at this time it's far from it. And so we respectfully request a finding in favor of our appeal for relief, and thank you for this opportunity for making our case.
Well, thank you. The photos and information are helpful. Without those, unless we came to do a site visit, we wouldn't know the condition. So, have you looked at the tax card as far as accuracy goes on the information? So we've got the age at 1998, year
That's
built.
correct.
2 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms.
That's correct.
Okay. Heat pump, wood floors and carpet.
That's correct.
Okay. And then roughly 1920 square foot for the livable square footage?
I believe that's correct too, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you got a deck and a screen porch,
Right?
private well, private septic. Anybody have any questions for Mr. St. Hours?
Since you purchased it, and sorry if I missed something, have you made any upgrades to the exterior
No.
of the home?
No, at this point, we pressure washed it, but that was as far as we could get. We're saving up to make the improvements necessary. We think that replacing the outbuildings will be important if I want to keep yard equipment safe, that sort of thing. The worst part of the exterior, I think, are the missing shingles, and the siding appears to be holding, but the roof is something that we've got to do probably imminently. A roof like that has 20-year life cycle, and it's way to the end of that, so.
One of the big changes between the old assessment and this one is one of the ratings that they have. They bumped you up a couple of different levels, so it's kind of gone from a fair condition rating,
to
or I guess that's one level, right?
Yeah.
Just looking at that structural element number there, kind of reminds me of our first one yesterday. I don't know why it ends up being higher than
Right.
most of the other ones that we've looked at, and from,
Well, the
The
photographs
description
are
of the-
recent.
okay.
So all I can say is I took the photographs in response to the appeal results.
And so you came in and spoke with them, and he actually raised it?
I sent in an
More-
appeal,
more-
once I
okay.
received in November, I think that's on the next to the last page, in November, I'm sorry, the last page. We received an assessment, an 68.93 levy increase from previous. And then when we appealed it, we received in January 15th, an 88% assessment, a 20% increase. We thought that was uncalled for.
Okay, and so that's in here where it went from 293.1, and then you appealed it, and it went up even more.
That's correct.
Was there any explanation, or do you have
No.
any idea why? The,
No, there's no communication between Cowan Group and
yeah, so you're not sure why it
individuals.
went up an additional
No.
amount? Okay. Thanks for all the information, it's very.
Thank you, no, appreciate it.
Anybody else have any more questions? No? No? Mr. Senners, I appreciate you coming in and providing us this information. What we're going to do is, after the hearings today, we're going to deliberate on each case and do case-by-case basis, and then we'll notify you in the mail in the next 2 to 3 weeks of our decision.
Thank you, Mr. Duke,
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Glenn, for getting us back up and running. Mr. Larkin? How you doing, sir?
I am good, how are you?
Good. Come on forward, and we're ready to hear what you want to tell us.
All right, I just bought the house in March of last year, so I've been there literally 1 year, and in about a week I'll be a year. And to the point where his assessment was forwarded to the old owner because it had his name on it. And it came in at 805 and I paid 735. And it's a completely unrelated deal. I don't have any backup or anything, but other than the fact that I should be the calm, not necessarily, it just seemed excessive to pay 80 grand or so more.
Right.
You know, it didn't go up that much in the month or so it was from the time I bought it.
And
So
you
you
bought it about a
purchased
year ago?
If it did, great investment.
Yeah, right. You bought it about a year ago?
I bought it, it closed March 20th, 23.
March 20th, 2023.
Okay.
And everything seems accurate. It's a 10-year-old property. It's not like it's undervalued. I mean, it's a nice home, but I should be the comp. No,
Right.
Right,
it seems arbitrary at that point.
right.
Was there an appraisal done when you purchased?
It was a bank appraisal. Those aren't typically, but yeah, it came in, they said it's to value or something like that.
They seem to come in real close to the purchase price.
They always do. That's why I referenced it as a bank appraisal.
But there was an appraisal, and it came in somewhat close to that.
It wasn't a private party appraisal. so.
Okay.
And what was the bank appraisal at sales price?
I don't recall, to be honest with you, but it was right around there, yeah.
Okay.
Shocker, right?
I'm familiar, yeah, I'm familiar with it.
That was 730.
And it had been on the market for like 6 months, so it wasn't like they were like in a hurry to sell it or whatever.
I think in the last year, purchase price during the assessment was always a pretty, kind of made sense. Things to look at and neighboring things to look at, but it's always pretty compelling, I think.
So all the information here is correct?
I believe so, yeah. I went over my card. Crystal sent it to me.
And then your concern is why am I paying taxes on 805 and I just bought it for 735?
Correct.
Valid point.
Yep, absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Larkin? Yeah, some of these, we kind of scratch our head going,
I can see when you're doing mass appraisals how this kind of thing can happen, but, and especially when I probably recorded after he had already done a lot of his work.
right.
Right.
Well, the fact that you've got a contract, a settlement sheet, and an appraisal backing what the value, actually market price was and market value was, so. Pretty easy, I think. You guys good?
Yep.
Very good. Mr. Larkin, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll let you know in 2 to 3 weeks' time by mail of our decision, but
All right. Look
appreciate you
forward
coming
to
in.
Sure. Great.
So I wonder if maybe you think he may have assessed it before the sale?
I don't know. When did they actually start? doing
Actually, he did,
reassessment?
look. It says they went out June the 6th, 23rd of 23.
No, I would have liked to have seen that, but it's all right. I think it's
Yeah, it was February 6th,
the way
23.
it sounds with that.
So he went and visited the home
Before it sold.
a month before it sold.
Wow.
But I mean, how can we argue with
I know.
a contract, a sale, and an appraisal all at the same number? I mean,
Where is that?
that's the definition of market
Market
price.
value,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll just have to figure out the factor stuff on that, but
Which lever to
Hey,
pull.
David, where is Bayberry Lane?
right behind, Sandpiper Restaurant.
Is that Whitestone? Okay,
Yep.
all right.
We were just talking, the assessor went out there February the 6th of 23, and he bought it March 20th. So the assessor did this a month before this guy bought it. But how can you argue with a sale, a closing, and an appraisal all at the same number?
At the
That's-
same time,
That's all market price, so I think we're gonna have to
pretty
play with the factors and all number there. I mean,
well, it was changed. There's plenty of room there.
oh, yeah, yeah.
I'll take a look at that. I'll look at the picture. I think I appraised that one. I'm pretty sure I did.
Well,
Nice-
good.
Nice house.
Thank you, bud. Awesome. Well, good, we're back right at schedule again.
The first two I've been to, so. Henry Dixon, I don't know anything about.
All right, Henry, he's down, Akron Road,
Yeah.
and turn left like you're going towards, Bella's Landing,
Okay.
and his home was one of the ones that was destroyed in a tornado.
Ooh.
They were up
Wow.
off Weems Road, where you get John's
Right.
Neck on the
Yeah,
left,
yeah.
and they built a house down there, and then,
Gosh.
yeah. Him and Lena.
Man.
Yes, sir.
While we have a break, I don't want to be a distraction today, but I'm probably going to be a little bit more cognizant of where the microphones are.
Okay.
Just, if I approach, just, kind of just ignore.
Gotcha,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is that we just need to speak in them more directly than we did yesterday?
Yeah,
Just,
like I said yesterday, they have to be tuned to be very directional, because of having the microphones we have in such a small amount of space. We have other cartridges that are designed to pick up from a wider range, but we have tried them in the past, and they create feedback problems. So
Gotcha.
That's what we had, so, so they work fine, but you gotta, like I said, you gotta protect the boards into it.
All right, I'll remind the presenters to do the same thing.
Right, it's not just about us hearing each other, it's about picking it up for the live stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, they're muted for the time being, but I also put these microphones here, I kind of turn them the other way in case somebody approaches, and basically does their entire presentation, right here,
Gotcha.
Okay.
like we had happened yesterday.
Right.
Maybe these two microphones will pick that up a little bit better.
Okay.
Thank you.
This other one's work if somebody needs to sit down to present.
If we have a, situation like that, I do have a handheld microphone that I can give to them.
Okay.
We prefer they stand, right? If they sit, they might stay for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. All right, so 75.
So here's Bellows Landing right here,
Okay,
and
Yikes.
here's Akron Road coming down.
yep,
So this is Ashley's Cove
wow.
and Dimer Creek right there. So that tornado came right through, right there.
Where is it compared to that one that got destroyed and they rebuilt that Dan is?
Well, there are several. One of them was right here.
Okay.
They got totally knocked off. Russell Harper's house was right here. That got destroyed. The castle's right here.
That one gentleman's house.
I'm sorry, the castle's right over here.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed.
It was an older couple, and like the roof literally, yeah. And-
Oh.
Yeah, they went and got in the,
If they can stay away in their bed.
No, it was,
God, if you said the name, I'm awful.
Bowling's house. They're down,
That's where the shooting range.
right before ours on Coppage Farm, a big house. They were in bed, and literally,
I guess they were.
the wife said, I think we need to
Yeah,
go.
I'm not exactly
I just said,
sure.
don't worry about it, and they got up, and the whole chimney came right down
Not
through their
sure
master
where.
bedroom, through the bed, right down to the basement. It
Really
would've killed them instantly.
I ain't sure, but
Philip and Barbara Bowen,
go off road.
I don't,
There.
that's one I don't think I've ever been to.
they're right,
What the road where the range is behind.
They're right here.
Like,
Behind St.
Oh,
Paul.
wow.
I don't
Holy
think I
moly.
have.
yeah.
when I was on the,
Because we were right here, and we lost the end of the pier, and
I can't think of it,
lost like
Wasn't it
65
the
trees,
sheriff's
but it
office?
kind of came up here,
Yeah.
bounced around, and went back that way.
something. I went back there
That was crazy.
to shoot.
Gotcha.
First time I shot a gun.
Did you ever see the Google map of that day?
What was that?
The
That-
line of
can't
that?
think-
Yeah, it was crazy.
You know, because you know what it did to, because we got a call from Matt Smith, and he's EMS chief, and he said it's coming all the way down, which makes you feel real great.
Yeah.
And so I really thought, I was in the bathroom and the floor was gas, I really thought I heard it going to Good Luck Sellers, Good Luck Vineyard, because as the crow flies, it's almost, if I started walking from where we live across Route 3, I'd be there.
Yeah,
And when you look at that Google map,
it was nuts.
it's a straight line. It didn't really veer too much.
Mm-mm.
Just kept on in that direction.
Yeah, that was scary.
I'm not too sure that someone's not waiting in the lobby.
Think so?
They opened the door a while ago and I didn't really recognize who it was. But
Is it?
yeah, probably not. I know somebody opened that door.
I saw him, yeah.
We don't doubt you.
I don't know, sometimes I doubt myself.
No.
Just that we tabled, did we table Moriarty yesterday, or did we just changed the factor on it, right? We kept going, but it's weird to me that this first one has that same issue. I don't know why that price per square foot is at 189 for that guy, and why Moriarty's yesterday was at 180 something, and everybody else's seems to be in the 160 to 170 range. I'm just not sure what,
Well, where,
what it is in the system that's kicking out that number every so often.
on the old one, and then when you go to the new one, it shows you right here.
Oh, okay.
See, he doubled. In one
He's
assessment.
almost at 190 a square foot for a structural element.
Oh,
strikes
'cause
me as
this one
another
here, the
weird one.
182.96 is the.
Compared
before.
to yesterday.
No, that
Well,
was,
it went
that's
up
what it is
$100
right
a
now.
square foot.
Oh,
You get the old tax
so
card,
before
Yeah.
it was.
it was
the
97
That's what I don't
square
understand.
foot.
They've all
sorry.
roughly
This is
doubled, and
what
then
it
there's those
was?
ones where it's
Oh,
double
no,
plus
that's the
another
number of
10 or
square
$20 a
foot.
square
Okay.
foot.
And then that's the price per square foot.
So I don't quite
Okay.
understand
So that
what
price is what we're
the
looking at.
Okay.
pieces of
To see
information.
on his old tax
I
card,
think probably going from F to A.
well, like this one.
But other properties have had A. I thought potentially with, I guess that's what
where's
the
Beth
20?
did yesterday, she changed Moriarty's year built from 2013
the
to older, and she said
2019
that didn't
appraisal.
change
Okay.
It was at
the price per square
$90 a
foot. But this one was built in 98.
And the
I
factor
thought potentially
was
with
100.
Moriarty.
Okay.
Well, if you look at the
just,
same
you know,
thing,
kinda jumps out
here we are in 2015, it went, or.
Well, we
excuse
could,
me,
we could go back and
2024.
change the condition
Goes
back
from
to F.
90 to
Yeah, I mean, to me, that
182.
seems just as subjective
I
as,
mean, there's no
As-
reason why it should have gone from A from F because
And,
he's done nothing to the property.
no,
Yeah.
that's the same.
I mean, to me, that condition rating seems to be just as subjective as the factor
Yeah, it's,
or anything,
uh,
or anything else, you know, it's
Okay,
a whole
thank
different
you.
person
You're
looking at it.
welcome.
You talking about Flagstaff now? Which one are you talking about?
Yeah.
Talking about Flagstaff,
Flagstaff.
yeah.
Yeah, the exterior was pretty rough.
And it kind of reminds me of yesterday in that it's this waterfront, but not much water.
No, they got mud.
This
So
is
I don't
mud,
know why
yeah.
that number would be higher than it would be for, I guess it's.
I
just
think
based-
Kelly and Alice had that one listed. I was trying to remember who the listing agent was on that.
Well, for that one, does it make sense for us to also go back to the old tax card with the factor and depreciation?
I would say, yeah.
I mean, the new tax card is 96, the old one's 90. He's done nothing to it, so,
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know why the,
and then the physical depreciation was 40, the new one's 26, so it doesn't make sense to decrease that. So if we make those three changes, that's at least in line with the old tax card, and no reason to increase it.
should we ask Beth to run that just to make sure that going to 90 and 40 and F doesn't take it too low? I guess it should be more than he, I don't think that it would, but, or I guess we can run it. Yeah. we can-
Yeah, because the land.
Well, I guess the F, we can't run the numbers, 'cause we don't know how F affects it.
Stand up there at the podium, Henry, if you don't mind.
Captain, what's up? What's going on, Captain?
All right, I didn't know we was gonna do all this.
Yeah, oh yeah, we only did it for you though,
I feel like Jim Breeden up here.
just for you. See, everybody else gets to sit down, you get to stand up and present.
All right,
You know?
what do I need to do here?
All right, Captain, let's see. Let us get our paperwork ready for you. And then what we're gonna do is,
Let's just review it, I guess.
yeah, let's see here.
It's Dixon.
Mr. Dixon, yeah,
Mr. Dixon.
Captain Dixon.
Yeah, you got me up there on the map. All right,
Yep. All right, let's see here. All right, Henry, what we're gonna do is just let you kind of tell us what you want us to know, what you want us to consider, and then we can ask questions. And then at the end of the day today, once everybody's finished up with their presentations, Then we
Well-
we go through and deliberate and then make a decision
Okay.
and then mail you in 2 to 3 weeks' time of it, so.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
I'll turn it
I'm
over to you,
sure-
buddy.
I'm sure I'm not the first one.
And you won't be the last one.
No, I got a buddy coming up here tomorrow, I think. Well, they, of course, reassessed everything. You know where I'm at down on Ashley Cove off of Diamonds Creek.
Yes, sir.
Deep water, I know all of, you know all about my home down there.
Right.
Been torn up by the tornado and everything. The first thing is, they assessed the house with carpet in it. We have no carpet at all in the house, upstairs or downstairs.
Okay. What do you have, Henry, for your floor coverings?
Oh, just vinyl flooring, you know, nothing.
Vinyl floor? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They assessed us with a fireplace. We have no fireplace.
Fireplace. No fireplace. Okay.
Okay. They assessed us with a brick foundation. We have cinder block.
Gotcha.
They assessed us with riprap. I have no riprap on my property, just oyster shells. Now, I can understand how the riprap was included because my next door neighbor right beside us has riprap, and, you know. but
Gotcha.
The riprap stops at my property line. Neither tree on the property, no bigger round than that. 5 acres, a little plus, no trees.
Yeah.
Of course, it's waterfront. Of course, it's Diamond Creek. And as far as I'm concerned, Diamond Creek is the best. I know it's the best because I've flown over them all.
Right.
Craddock Creek on the eastern shore, Nandui, all of them. And that's about it, really. I just, you know, just some of them mistakes. But let me ask you something. Where is all this extra money going?
So, Henry, what this board is tasked with is taking the new general assessments, which happen every 4 to 5 years.
Right.
And then when people argue about data being wrong or values being incorrect in their minds,
Right.
they go to the assessor first. If they're not happy, they come to this board.
Right, I got you.
So what we've got to do is look at the general tax burden across the county and make sure it's being done fairly and equitably. So make sure that you and your neighbor don't have two different tax valuations on your piece of land.
Right.
Because you both got the same views, you both got the same elevation.
Right.
But also, too, make sure that since the last assessment, you haven't done a bunch of improvements that wouldn't have jumped your assessment 100% higher.
Well-
Just as, so that's kind of what we do. We look at everything from the land to the improvements to the whole 9 yards. Now, you've got some inaccuracies here, some data that's incorrect. Let's go through the other ones. Square footage on your house, 2242, does that sound right?
Yeah, about right.
Okay. 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 half bath?
Yes,
Okay. Heat pump?
yes.
Y'all's well is a shared well?
What'd you say?
Is your well a shared well, or is it
Yes,
private? Okay.
yes, it's-
Shared
The
well.
well is on my property, but we have my attachment and 3 others.
Okay. Paved driveway?
No,
They've got paved.
blue
driveway.
stone.
Okay. Let's see. So we got the pier. They do have 80 feet of riprap, so that's got to go away. A 12 by 18 shed?
Yes, bought it from, I'll tell you the story right quick. We had a garage there that was my parents'. Of course, the tornado carried that across to Dave Weinker's over there.
Yeah.
And I had bought this shed. I was going to put it out amongst the pine trees that are no longer existing there.
Right.
And I was going to use it for my tractor and stuff. And I was going to keep the garage, but everything changed. I'd already bought the shed.
Gotcha.
So I put it up in the yard, and that's what I got
Okay.
right now.
But this thing also says bulkhead. You don't have any bulkhead, do you?
I have bulkhead, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have a wooden bulkhead that's been there for 40 years, I guess.
126 feet?
About that,
About-
yes,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
About that.
All right. So,
One question about the acreage on the old card is
Mm-hmm.
2.73, the new is showing 3.13. Is there a reason there that I'm missing?
The assessor's missing.
Oh, dearie.
it's just that one parcel, right, Henry?
I have 4 parcels.
I think they combined.
They combined them then.
Yeah, they all are all adjacent to each other.
Okay.
Well, but the number's the same,
There's multiple.
and I have 3575, those cards match.
His wife has asked for y'all to look at 3 parcels. 3574, 3574, and 3565.
Yeah, that's what I've got here.
Yeah, but you're right, 74 doesn't equal, even if they combined
They can,
75 with something.
all the other cards match though. That's,
Can you see what the county has, David? That's what you're looking at there? What acreage?
On this acreage,
Yeah.
3.13 for this one. And what's the other tax map? Is it 3575?
3575 and 3574.
All right. 75.
0.16.
0.16. And what
That was a sliver of land that when Coleman Trickle and them, did the surveys years ago, as I tell everybody, when my grandfather bought that property, it was from that cedar tree down to that oak tree.
Yeah.
And they don't exist anymore.
Right.
So when Coleman Trickle and all them surveyed everything, all of a sudden, that sliver of land was over in our yard. And our neighbor, Sam Gardner, was nice enough to sell us that little strip to kind of square the yard up.
Right. And B is the other one?
74B.
74B.
Not 36, no. I got 35.
2 acres.
Excuse me?
2 acres.
And you pay taxes on the parcels separately? You get separate,
Yeah, they're all separate tax
Tax
map parcels.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah. Lena takes care of all that. I wish she was up here.
let's see this.
She's a little busy right now.
Yes, she is.
There's a big
Very
date coming
busy.
up in April.
We
She's a
had
little busy.
we had an episode this morning. She came in the house crying. I mean, tears were flying.
Oh,
We
man.
thought we had lost our tomcat. Yeah. You know, and he's only 3 years old.
Yeah.
And he's, we're used to the same routine every morning.
Right.
And I've been noticing, coyote tracks around. And he goes out at night, and he didn't show up this morning. And she
Uh-oh.
walked around the yard, and it looked like it was a scuffle on the sand down there. And she said, "Oh, no, he's gone," Stinks is his name. He got a little short tail on him like that.
Did he show up?
Oh, when I was on the way up here, she called, you'll never guess who just walked in the house.
Good.
Damn
good.
cat.
We'll have to ask Beth about the acreage.
Yeah.
because
That's
That's
the only one that doesn't
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
a good catch on that.
RJ, which parcel is that, 3574?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. On the field sheet, it's showing 1 acreage, and on the other,
My grandfather bought that piece of property down there for $2,000.
wow.
$2,000. And I tell everybody, if my mom and dad hadn't have given it to me, because I would never be there.
Right.
So, but it was willed to me, so we sold Weems, as you well know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we went down there, and We moved in April the 4th and moved out August the 4th.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks like here, kind of consistent with the rest of them, we've seen that the improvements have gone up considerably.
Well, I took the old house down, and the house I'm in is a brand-new house.
Right, right.
If you want to, Lloyd Dilday built it, Chesapeake Homes.
Yep, yep.
I understand that. My question was just the mistakes that were made in the assessments here.
Right.
Well, we definitely we can make those changes now you brought them to our attention. We can get Beth to make those administratively.
And that's all I've got, really, unless y'all have got something else that can help me. I take all the help I can get.
Well, since your bride bought this before us, we're gonna go through and look at each tax map parcel
Right.
and just check for the acreage and make sure that there aren't any other
Okay.
inaccuracies. But yeah, I know, I mean, for one, just taking the riprap off, that's added value to your taxes that needs to come off because that's a mistake, obviously. The fireplace, so we need to clean this thing up to make it accurate.
Well, when you're riding around in your boat this summer, your brand-new boat, I know you got one,
If
Come
I
up
ever
to
get to use it.
come up in Ashley Cove, the house with the blue roof, and I can verify all this.
What are you doing tomorrow? I'll come by tomorrow afternoon.
That'd
About
be fine.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
That sounds good. with
Have a
me.
cold beverage.
You may still be here tomorrow at 5 or 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
Dave.
true, that's true.
Right.
I do have a question for you, sir. The extra lot that you have, if someone were to build there, would it be very similar to the lot that your home is on in terms of
You told this lot right here, Neil?
74B.
74B? Yeah.
Nobody will build there. You know, in my lifetime, which is
Yeah.
going to be about 12 more years.
Yeah.
But, and I think Lena's going to be here for about 35, so I know nobody's going to build there.
Right.
And then Skylar will eventually, you know, what she does when we're gone, I don't know.
What is it jumps out at me
She's gonna
that
keep it.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah. She's not gonna let that go.
his value on his land for the main house did go up 75,000. And
Yep.
then for that extra lot, it's assessed lower.
And
By about
they're same views and everything, Neil, same
by about
elevation.
$100,000.
Yep,
I don't know, yeah,
yep.
Okay.
We'll look at those too.
that might be something to take a peek at.
Yep. Anybody else have any more questions for Mr. Dixon? Well, Henry,
All the extra money that the county is going to take in is going to go mainly to the $400 million school, is that right?
so we don't have any direction or recommendations as far as taxes go. All we do is look at the assessments and try to make sure they're done fairly and equitably. And I can tell you that the Board of Supervisors, once this process is done, they'll look at the total revenue income for the county.
Okay.
And then they're the ones who set the tax rate,
Right,
which could change yearly.
right.
Don said it in one of the Board of Supervisor meetings before that it's probably likely that that tax rate will change.
Right,
Doubtful that it'll stay the same
okay.
because of the increase so much in the values, and the market's doing a lot better than it used to be. So more than likely, the Board of Supervisors will look at that and try to make some adjustment. Because when you get your tax notice, if it says, okay, here's your new assessment, on the
Right.
back, based on the current tax rate of 63 cents.
Right.
Here's what your new taxes will be due.
Yeah.
And I think that's scaring a lot of people, because if it were staying the same at the current tax rate, that would be the taxes. So I would encourage, let's see, for us as Jason, calling Jason Bellows, say, hey, Jason, we'd really appreciate you all bringing that tax rate down.
Well, I can do that, but I doubt it goes much further than that. Do you know Jason?
I passed him going down your way.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Now, where is your home down there? Are you on Diamond Creek?
I'm across the creek from you. I'm down Coppage Farm Road.
Oh, my God, yes, I know where you're at.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm on the poor side of the creek.
I see.
See, we look across, y'all go, man,
No,
look
that's-
down, y'all look at the bay, y'all looking at the bay.
No, there's nothing poor about Diamonds Creek, I can tell you that.
It's nice. We enjoy it, yeah.
Well, I don't really have anything to add unless y'all do.
I think we're good, buddy. We appreciate everything, and we'll, like I said, you'll be getting one letter, Crystal, or 3 letters? 3 letters, one for each of the 3 parcels.
Right.
About the decision, and,
Okay. Okay, well, I guess that's it.
well, thank you for coming in, buddy.
Yeah, well, come on by this afternoon. Come on by anytime.
I like it. Thanks, Henry.
Thank you.
All right, Chris. Oh, yeah. See y'all later.
Okay, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, when they send out those new assessment forms, because there is that whole equalization thing and the equalized rate being 46 cents, could they put that on there in some way? Because and it does say on there,
Yeah, it's
taxes with
COs.
new, because you have like an extra column that says taxes with equalized tax rate, and then a star that says you won't know what your taxes is until Board of Supervisors sets tax rate.
I remember Don saying that what is on that notice is all per state code.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was,
But you're right, it would be nice to say, you know, it could be in between what is current and what the equalized rate is, depending on what the board of supervisors sets for their calendar year tax rate. And so
Yeah.
these people know that it's probably not gonna be that bad, and it probably ain't gonna be that good, but it's probably gonna be somewhere in the middle, or maybe an area to one side or the other.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
And I'll just,
I think it would help a lot.
I mean, you already know, do I need to?
or I don't know if
announce
there's
that?
a separate notice, that, I mean, I guess that takes a lot of time and money for the county to then send out a
It would be
separate,
best to have it all in one,
Yeah.
one notice, you know.
What's that, Ms. Davis?
All right, so was he next?
I'd kind of forgotten about it because I've been through this process
Dixon,
before when I got
yeah.
mine, but yesterday, looking at one of them, I was like, oh yeah, it does say in there that this is your new tax.
And if you don't know about them setting the tax rate every year, then you're thinking, okay.
Yeah.
well,
All right, y'all.
Yeah, that's a big increase on this one, goodness,
Mr. Reynolds.
biggest increase that we've seen.
Mr. Reynolds, how you doing, sir? How you doing this morning? We're doing fine, thank you. I'll turn over the floor to you and then let you give us your presentation. Then if we have questions, we'll chat a little bit, and then after the day's done, we deliberate on each case. And then let you know in about 2 to 3 weeks' time by mail of our decision, so.
Been through this before.
Okay, gotcha.
In response to his, people that read the Rappahannock record, that's in there, that the rate is not set, but most people here don't read the Rappahannock record, so when you do send out these notices, it would be nice. That is a good point.
Yeah,
There are a lot of people that don't read the record.
yeah.
Sure.
It's surprising how many people in this county don't know that we're building a new school. And that's some of your neighbors.
Right.
Yes, sir. Anyway, I assume y'all have my tax map,
Yes, sir. I've got it pulled up here too on the,
3129?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I question a 231% increase. It's family land, there's no development, it's undeveloped. It's been in our family probably 100 years. Okay, it does have some waterfront, which I see he's put here as a home site, which I always have this problem, assessed at $90,000 for a home site, which doesn't exist. I realize it's supposedly state law, so I'm told every time, right?
Right.
Yeah, so,
I believe it's, if you have more than an acre on the water, then they're supposed to be considered a waterfront home site there just for that 1 acre, and then the residual land can be taxed as different depending on the usage of it.
actually, he's It's probably 3 acres of total waterfront there. It's the end of White Oaks Creek, right at the end of that prong you're looking at.
Right.
He's got 3 acres also at 90,000.
I see
So
that.
Yeah.
that right there just blows it away.
Right.
It's never been perked, it's never been developed, there's no road to it. 10
No,
acre,
I'm sorry, no perk site.
no perk sites. Nothing's ever been done to it. Used to be an old dock there, that fell down 10 or 15 years ago. There's nothing there for that anymore. It's 10 acres actually on here, he's got 6, but it's 10 acres of open land, of wood that I farm. And at this present rate, I can't get enough off that property to even pay your taxes.
So you said the open land, instead of 6, it's roughly 10 acres?
It's 10 acres, yes, sir.
And how about wooded?
Well, 17 acres, so the other 7 is woodland, which takes in that waterfront.
Okay, so the 3 acres and the 7 acres, you say that's roughly 7 acres total? So you got 10 of
Yes.
open land and?
Yes, I
And then-
just downloaded this last night, and I saw it where he had appraised it, because it's on the county website now.
Gotcha.
Already at the new price, which I was surprised. I was going back to look up the old appraisal,
Right.
yeah, but the new appraisal's already there.
Well, the old one, I can tell you, the old one was,
I've got that all, well, I've got,
121.2.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's on the new, on the back of your new assessment. which you
Right.
sent. Yeah, I had to go back and find all this stuff. So, but I just question the percentage and the value of what he's got here.
Is it in any kind of land use?
I think the 10
Because
acres
you farm
is-
it, do you
I
get
think
any?
the 10 acres is, sir.
It is.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
There's
I think
values on
we've done that.
That's the big difference here. He's just assessed it in a completely
Yeah,
different
see it-
way.
Oh, I see it, at the
Then-
bottom.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
will make a difference on, I realize
Yeah,
all
I
the
don't-
63 cent.
That's what I was gonna ask, because I don't see any
On
designation
the,
on the.
on the notice.
It's not on the
Yeah.
notice. Yeah, some of my others have that on the notice, but I guess it's in the footnotes down here.
Well, you see the old card too, it says 4 acres of creekfront?
Yeah, and it's 10 acres of tillable land there that we work.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, I don't know the
And the
footage
rest
there.
of it is
Oh.
wooded. So,
I know it's 5 acres of woodland on the backside that takes in some water. And on the front side, where the 10 acres is open, that would leave, what, 2 acres that's around the edge?
Right.
Yeah, approximately. But it's a hills and gullies. Once you get out of that 10 acres, it's a lot of ravines on that 5 acre side. But
What, is it, you said you had a dock there at one point. Is it
Gone.
decent water once you get up to the
that
head part
prong,
of
no,
it?
no,
Is it-
sir. You
is
might,
it-
you can get a canoe in it.
Okay.
It's marshland. What you see at the very end of it is marsh. And it's marsh,
All up there.
probably, all that's marsh, probably to that first prong.
Right here?
You get in, no, go, take your arrow back the other way. Back there, then it's real shallow water, maybe a foot. On low tide, it's mud. The dock was, if you bring your arrow on down to that, right there, that's where a dock used to be. And there is a dock on some other, on the adjacent property across with probably a 20-foot boat. And we used to bring a 16-foot boat up in there. But, I mean, you had to be careful on low tide.
Right.
Okay. Now, as you get on down, yes, there's plenty of water.
Right.
But yes, we're at the end of it. It's not deep water. You couldn't bring a 30-foot boat in there. You'd be sitting on the ground.
Is there anything on the old tech sheet that you guys see that kind of indicates why they wouldn't have done a home site previously?
Oh, did they do one previously?
No.
No.
I did not
no.
see any of this previously. It was my father's.
I mean,
I
they just,
don't get that either.
and it kind of seems like the old assessment was kind of based off of it being a farm
Yeah.
That's
type
what it is.
Yeah.
Great.
property,
exactly.
and then this new guy looked at it and is assessing it
Was-
as kind of a standard
Yeah, I realize
residential property. I don't know what the rules
everything's
are.
about the water. I already know
Which
what's
I
going on.
don't know
So-
if he can without, if he didn't check the health department records, if it's got no permit or,
We've never had it perked.
Yeah,
How
that'd
can
be-
you
that'd be
call it a
a,
home site? I don't know.
I don't know if you were lucky before, and this guy discovered something that maybe should have been there.
Well,
or-
they're all the
with the land
waterfront,
use
I know what's going
Yeah.
on there. All the waterfront, that's where everybody's coming here for the water.
It's the biggest increase that we've seen by,
Yes,
by
I
a
went
lot,
to-
and the reason is because he's just assessed it in a completely different manner
Mm-hmm.
than it was assessed in the past. And so if we can, I don't know if that's a
Revert
county
back.
question, how should this be assessed? Is it appropriate?
Yeah, I think we asked Beth, but why can't we go back?
Right,
What's changed from the old card to the new card?
right.
Yes.
And especially if it's been assessed the same way for, the old assessment.
Yeah, I mean, you look, going back even to '08,
Yeah, I don't have any of
nothing's
that.
changed in the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Right.
No, it's all the same.
Yeah,
So I think it's
Well-
been assessed that way for a very long time.
In
right.
fact, that 25-136C, the property was divided. It used to be all one. That was my grandfather's home, and my cousin lives there now,
Okay,
on that piece that's right there by it.
okay.
And that road accesses all of it, but we've never put in another road like back to the water or anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, I looked at some other properties, and it seems like everything around the waterfront was assessed anywhere from 90 to 100,000. I looked at some others that I knew. So,
And then obviously you got hit twice with a home site, and then the creek frontage. It'd be interesting to see if the other
yeah,
waterfront,
I've had that in the past on all fields. They take a field and they want, you access one home site in the middle of it, no matter what, and it drives the value way up,
Right.
yes.
I mean, part of what happens is there's all these categories that the county has, and the new assessor, that kind of the computer, he doesn't look at each individual property. But it would seem like if you're
understand.
gonna have a home site, then everything else would just be residual
Right.
Right.
to
Not-
have the
not-
home site and then the creek frontage with the much higher amount.
Well, yeah, the
Oh,
creek
yeah,
frontage
when-
is just as much as the home site
Well, it's like
is.
he's
Yeah.
got 4 home sites there.
Yeah.
the way
Yeah,
it's-
in the future, when somebody else gets it, there probably will be homes there.
Right.
And then you go at it.
I feel like one of those could be changed or go all the way back to the way that
The way it was,
Yeah.
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 Something's inconsistent.
Yep.
And the county will kind of help us determine where that is, but,
Yeah, this one really jumped out.
yeah.
Right, for sure.
I didn't bother any of the others. There's a couple other little pieces that
We,
are like
we've,
swampland that have went up about way up, but I didn't bother them. They're like an acre or 2 acres.
this is day 2 of hearings for us, and we've seen some increases, percentages. I don't think we've ever seen 231%. That's,
It kind of does throw up a flag.
yeah. We've seen a few high ones, but that's, yeah.
I don't know if this is your highest, this is the highest one?
Yes,
so
sir.
far.
So far, yeah.
Yes, sir, I think by far.
Yeah, well, I look at it as about 300% by my math, but
Yeah.
when you do the proper math, that's the way it is. Yeah, I think 100 times 4.
Sure.
So,
Well, I think there's enough difference between the old tax card and the new one that we need to get the Commissioner of Revenue in here, and
take a look, that's fine.
it's just, there's some discrepancies, and that's quite honestly why our board is here, to make
Exactly.
sure that those discrepancies don't go unchanged
Exactly.
when
I
bought
thought
up,
of-
so.
Thought about leaving it there and we just put it up for sale. Somebody wants it, come get it. You could always say the county just
You'll go back to the
assessed it.
county and say, hey, go just buy it for this.
Here it is. So,
Anybody have any more questions for Mr. Reynolds? No? Mr. Reynolds, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And appreciate your time. And again, 2 or 3 weeks' time, we'll have a notice to you
that'll
in the
be
mail
fine.
with the
Yes, sir.
changes, so.
don't do like the fellow I met that did the assessments. I walked in, I sat down, and gave him the map number, and he looked at me and he says, "Oh, we made a big mistake here." He didn't tell me what the mistake was, so I never had to say a word. I sat there, "Oh, this is great, I'm done."
Right.
We get the letter in the mail, nothing's changed.
Well, I can assure you, you will get something in the mail Because I'm gonna have to sign it, and she's gonna have to sign it. So, and Crystal's gonna send it out, so you definitely will be getting something in the mail from us in 2 to 3 weeks' time, I promise
If
you.
not, I'll just go see Don.
That's right.
Blame it on Don.
Everything else is, I'm sure. He takes a lot of heat,
He does.
and I know Craig.
Craig Easy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Good friends.
yeah.
But Jason, the man in front of you said, call Jason. No use.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Just when you thought you've seen it all. That's crazy.
That makes
No rhyme or reason.
no sense. Then saying you made a mistake and then, oops.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, but where, RJ, it's like you said, it's like he's getting taxed for 4 home sites.
Right.
3 acres of creek frontage at 9,000 apiece, and a home site for 90,000.
That's likely the mistake that he was glaring that he noticed, and then it just went unchanged with the
Yep.
follow-up
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I mean, that's the first thing that jumped out at me is if you're gonna designate one at the 90,000, then why are there 3 more here?
Right.
Yeah,
Well, it seems like that creek front thing, I don't see that many other places. Somehow they put that category in there because they weren't putting a home site on it the old way
right.
to try to get some extra, and then because those are just yeah, it does seem like Jason realized there was a mistake, but then it probably just the ball got dropped
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know exactly how many people he met with for 10 minutes apiece in a day, and then how he had to go back and
Yeah.
make the changes and have it update properly in the system and stuff. I could see where
That's a lot.
it's bad that a ball got dropped, but I could see how it could
I
happen.
know.
This is
Oh, yeah.
That would have been White House Creek.
90,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I first looked at it, I was like, wait, is that Mud Creek or, okay.
White
it's
House.
White House Creek. Okay.
Yeah. I think we do need to get Crystal and Beth in here for that one.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull up this next one here. Let's see, 22A dash 63. Laurel Point, yeah. Are y'all ready for the next one?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Thurman? Yes, sir. How you doing, sir? Well, good. Come on up to the podium. Welcome. Thanks for coming today. What we're going to do is allow you to give your presentation, tell us anything you would like us to know, consider, and then I've got your parcel pulled up here. We've got the screens in front of us so we can see it. And then we'll ask questions and make sure we've got things correct on our end. And then at the end of the day today, we deliberate on each case, and then we'll let you know the decision within 2 to 3 weeks' time. So I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, the population of Lancaster County is 10,866. Now, this, the poverty line for the United States is $5,140. And of that population, 14% are below the poverty line in Lancaster County, according to the census status. So I think what is going on here with you trying to raise taxes on property as much as you are, which is for me like 37%, which is astronomical in my opinion. I don't think that's right. Another thing is the median value in Lancaster County for homes is $292,300. That's a little bit higher than the entire United States, which is $281,900. So to me, those numbers are in line, not the $520,500 that you're proposing for my property here. I just don't get that at all. So who came up with this idea to raise taxes by 37%?
So, by law, every 4 to 5 years, each locality is required to do a general reassessment. So the last two general reassessments, sales were lower and prices were lower. So when they hired this new assessment firm, they came out and they did a new general reassessment. And based on the values, then taxpayers had the ability to go back to the assessor to argue inaccuracies in the reporting or their feelings on where the value came back. And if they were unhappy with that, then the next step was to come before this board and make the appeal. As far as the actual dollars of revenue for the county and the tax rate, we don't set that, the Board of Supervisors does. Nobody can guarantee anything, but very highly unlikely that the county will keep the same tax rate where it is now, at 63 cents per hundred of assessed value, because the values have gone up. More than likely, there will be a change of which the Board of Supervisors would set that number. So,
Even though that value stays the same, $63.
$63. No, see, that's a tax rate that the Board of Supervisors has the ability to change at any point in time, normally annually. I think it's been done. But that number isn't automatically going to stay where it is after these assessments have been set, because they've got to look at the total real estate income for the year for everybody.
The tax rate will change in May.
In May, okay. But it's this board's job to make sure that as a taxpayer, you don't feel like you have been improperly or unfairly taxed. For instance, you may have said, the assessor may have said, you made an addition or you upgraded this or that when you haven't, which makes a difference in your overall tax value. So that's where we have the wherewithal and the authority to make changes with regard to equitability and fairness of the tax burden amongst all the taxpayers.
Well, I don't, since the status here of the numbers for the national average for the home values, and what we're actually higher than what the entire nation is. I think the numbers that we've got now are pretty much accurate. But what these numbers, for these, whoever these people are that you hired, I don't think that's fair at all. Now, the other thing, you state that the value should be based on what a buyer would be willing to pay for a home and what the homeowner would be willing to accept in an arm's length deal.
Sure.
Now, you concur with that?
With where market value should be?
Yes.
Yes, sir, that's defined by the state of Virginia.
So I'm assuming that all of you are taking that position.
Well, it's not our position, it's the state's position and code that that's what defines market value.
Well, in that case, my taxes should be absolutely zero, because with the amount of money owed on my home, no buyer is going to buy it. And if they did want to buy it, I wouldn't sell it, because I would not receive $1 of the proceeds. It would all go to the mortgage company.
Sure.
And then I would be homeless.
And-
So according to your statement right here, my taxes should be zero.
Well, no, because actually market value has nothing to do with mortgages or liens on a property. It's just,
Well, that
it's,
doesn't say that. That says what people are willing to buy and I'm willing to accept.
well, that's if there were no mortgages, no liens on a property, that's the definition of market value. Now, what we will do is we will look at your property and determine it looks here like your land value went down $40,000. Are you in agreement with that, or do you think that should,
I don't know. I don't even know what those numbers are, and I haven't seen them.
you haven't looked at your tax card?
Well, my taxes, according to this, I didn't look at the house, the value of the property. I looked at the value of what you're coming up with. Now, last year, you had me taxed at $328,600. Now you're proposing $520,500. That's what I'm looking at. That's a 37% increase.
Okay, so last reassessment, your land was at 64,800, and your improvements were at 263,800, for a grand total of 328,600.
Okay,
This time around, your land value dropped roughly $40,000, $41,000. So your new assessment, the land value is 23,900, and the improvements are 496,600, for a grand total of 520,500. So it seems to me that you don't have a problem with your land value decreasing.
no, I don't with the land value.
Right, but your problem is with the improvements increasing 58%.
Yes,
Okay, let's go through the facts. Is your home 2730 square foot about?
say that again, sir.
2730 square foot?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Okay, and 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths? Okay. Carpet and vinyl for flooring?
Yes,
Heat pump for heat?
I'm sorry.
Heat pump for your heating system, cooling system?
Yes, heat pump.
Okay. You have a patio, screen porch, garage, and a porch. Okay.
Have you done anything to the exterior of the house since the last assessment?
Not to the house.
Okay.
Done some landscaping, but
Some
that's all.
landscaping. Just the factor and physical depreciation between the old ones are a little different. That might
Yeah.
be something to peek out. I don't know if it's something to ask Jason about or not, why some of the depreciations have actually lowered when the house is 5 years older.
Right.
Yep.
Why that has happened a few times, if that's just, it obviously seems like a subjective number, so.
I agree. And the house was built in 2010?
Yeah, roughly,
Okay.
yes.
Anybody think of any other questions for Mr. Thurman? RJ, Ms. Davis?
No, I'm good.
Neil? Good. Mr. Thurman, we appreciate you coming in, and again, what we're going to do is, after the hearings today, we're going to take each case by case and look at your numbers, and specifically with yours, we're going to look at your improvement value, because that's what had the significant jump to it, and see if there are avenues there that don't look right from the last assessment to this one, and if we can make any adjustments there, we can take action in that realm.
Okay. The one thing that I would like to say, if you raise a lot of people's taxes by what you're planning to raise mine, a lot of those people are not going to be able to afford those taxes.
Yes,
So
sir.
you're going to wind up with a higher rate of occupancy that's empty houses.
So, and what I would say, recommend is, as far as, again, the overall taxes and tax rate, contact your board supervisor for your district and ask them to please keep in mind when they meet to discuss the tax rates, because the values have gone up, please ask them to reduce the rate, because that's really the only board that can set that rate.
One other question I've got is Lancaster County and financial situation, what do they need to raise taxes like that?
No, I don't think it's as much as a need. It's just a constant budgetary, where you look at your, what your revenue is and what your needs are. But to my knowledge, there's nothing grave about the financial condition of the county that again, your piece of paper you got saying, here's your new tax value, and on the back, here's what you're gonna be paying based on the current tax rate. I wish there was a disclaimer in there, and there is on the website, I believe, that says the tax rate is subject to change. Because I think a lot of people would automatically assume that that piece of paper is actual what's going to happen, when the likelihood is the Board of Supervisors probably will make a change to that tax rate, so. Thank you, sir, and we'll mail you in the next 2 to 3 weeks from the county of the decision on y'all's property. Thank you, sir.
No, I didn't have his stuff. Wow. I'll stop. 'Cause this is,
Next one, here we go with the land again. Yeah.
It's crazy what's happened out in Maratico with some of the sales
Yes, right here, actually, she-
prior to COVID.
Right.
Mr. Hall. Walker. You- I tell you what, you wouldn't mind going sooner, would you? Come on up. So this is,
there up here.
right there is fine, Mr.
Okay,
Walker.
great.
Let me go ahead and pull it up here on the screen. This is gonna be Kent Walker.
Okay. Thank you.
Missing that, yeah.
It probably should be a capital A.
You got Walker?
There we go.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me find that one. Brian Hall, this is Mr. Walker. All right, everybody good for Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Welcome, buddy. I'm gonna turn the floor over to you.
All right. If you're looking at that map.
And if you want, Mr. Walker, you can hand up to the podium and just talk right in the microphone there.
Okay.
Thank you, bud.
If you're looking at that map.
Yes,
You
sir.
see that 35A1-1, that's us. And if you go on your GIS, it's also 35A1.2 or 1.2.
This parcel here as well?
Yeah, that's one lot.
Gotcha.
Because if you check that parcel, you'll see it's under our name.
Oh, it's connected, yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, now, shrink it a little bit. Now, you see the one right next to us, 35A1, no, well, you can look at that one, but let's look at this one right here. All right, 35A1, 18C, and 35A16B.
All right.
That's all really one parcel.
And this one here, too.
That one and the one right there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, now, if you compared the two of those, this is land first, okay? The one that you're looking at on the left is a total of 2.79 acres.
Okay.
Okay, Ayers is 0.9 acres. Okay? They're both waterfront. And I got a picture, satellite picture if you want to see it, to kind of compare it. If you want to see it, you're welcome to see it. You want to see it?
Sure.
Okay. We love it. We love it in Lancaster. This is absolute habitat. We've been down here for 37 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Except it was a little wet down there last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely.
I haven't been
wet.
down there.
It was a little wet.
It's dried out by now.
It's dried out now, yeah.
All right, these are the two properties. This one is the one on the left,
Okay,
and this is ours.
okay.
Okay. And if you look at it right here, it's all waterfronts right there on Chesapeake Bay, us and them.
Okay.
Pretty similar, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So you got, ours is a smaller piece of land, 0.9 acres. The other one is 2.79 acres. So it's about a third of the size, right? The land assessment on theirs is 29,000,
Yep.
okay? Land on assessment on ours is 215,000. A little discrepancy,
A little bit.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and quite frankly, you know, it went up from 2022 to the assessment that you sent, 7.5% air property. I have no problem with that. But it's got to be a little bit equal. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, it's a little bit crazy.
Do you happen to know, sir, sometimes we'll see a low number like that,
Uh-huh.
and it's because there's some sort of issue that the homeowners or the property owners come to the county with, where there is a development issue, like the property doesn't perk,
Yeah,
or there's not a, because I mean, to me, that number seems,
mighty low.
So-
I was surprised too. I mean, you can take
So
a look
low.
at it. You
Yeah.
can pull it up if you want to. I was surprised. And then the one next to me on the other side, okay?
On 3?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, their lot is assessed at
227 too.
35A113.
Yep, I got it right here.
You got,
Assessed at 227 too.
yes, 227.2.
Yep.
So, you know, and theirs is at 290. What's the size of the lot? I think it's,
Theirs is 1.54.
yeah, not quite twice, but anyway. It's just, it's not equal. We're way above. We're at $5.44 a square foot, whereas they are at, let me see if I can find it here. I thought I had that, but maybe I don't. Anyway, it's probably in the $3 range, something like that, $2 range.
What, for the husbands next door?
Yeah, for the land next door, and it's not only 35A11, it's also 35A15 and 35A16. Let me double check that. 13. It's all owned by the same people, which is the people who are on the left side of me.
There you go.
Yeah.
See that? They've got home site at 22.5.
I think they forgot a 0.
Yeah.
Now because that's a different lot.
Right.
This is 18.
That's 18,
Right,
which,
18C right
C.
here.
35, 18C.
That's this
So
parcel right here.
That was the one you were showing us
As a comparison.
to your right.
Oh, yeah, that one,
But see,
yeah.
what I was showing was
I
right
see.
here.
You
Your, on your tax card, this number for you is 215,000
For 1/3 of the amount of property.
for the home site. And then for them, it's 22,500.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
Gotcha.
yeah. And maybe theirs is low. Theirs might not be high, but it is compared to both sides of us by a pretty large margin,
Yeah.
okay? And that's not my big complaint.
Well,
It's the improvement.
that's exactly why this board is
I
here,
know, I
because
understand. I
we
understand.
do exactly that. We try to look at both sides to see if there are any disparities between the land values, and then we haven't had too much complaints on the land. We've had a couple, but most of them have been on the improvement side,
Improvements, that's my next,
because the subjectivity there is on the condition, and we've found some factual inaccuracies, but that's gonna happen, but.
yeah, and I understand this probably comes up through a computer, right?
Mhm, right, yeah,
So there's a problem somewhere in there.
sure.
And we certainly don't mind paying airfares here, because this place is lovely. Now, the other thing, and are any of y'all familiar with Bald Eagle Estates? You all? Have you ever been down and looked at it? It's not what you call a real desirable neighborhood. We have, I think, 16 properties. We have 7 trailers, 3 modular homes, and I think 4, structures. In addition to that, one of them is falling down. One of them is, I don't even know if it's still there. It was so densely in the woods, right as you come into it. We've got about 3 or 4 nice parcels in there. But I had a friend who wanted to buy a place here, lived in Dallas, and when he came to the neighborhood, he said no.
Yeah.
And that does affect kind of the value of,
Sure,
yeah, sure it does.
sure.
We go past that and get right down to the end, and I've.
Well, you got
surrounded
water
my-
all the way around you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I got my property, I planted all this ornamental, trees and stuff like that, so I
Yeah.
got my privacy,
Right.
And they're nice people, nothing
Oh,
wrong
sure.
with them, but just be fair about the values, that's all.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our house, this is the next issue, it's 1,300 square feet. And you can hit, I can show you a picture. And these pictures were taken probably around 2000. This is it. It's a cinder block house that was originally built in 1948. Okay, it's listed as a 2004 now because it is a built.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
It got, the whole front of it got knocked down. Yeah, it looked like a dollhouse without the front on. But anyway, we rebuilt it, and it's exactly the same as it was before. It's just been rebuilt. But anyway, it's 1,300 square feet, cinder block house, concrete slab, and the improvement value went up 65.6% in 2 years.
There you go, right there.
Yep.
It's nice.
I mean, it's a lovely little small place, but we love it. But,
1,300 square foot,
yep, that's what it's listed on your GIS, and that's about right.
3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
I think it's 2 bedrooms and 2 baths.
Two-
One of them, I think you call a bedroom, doesn't have any closets in it, and doesn't that take away the bedroom thing, so it's.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we rebuilt it, we moved a wall in the bathroom to be able to turn it from a half bath to a full bath, and we took the closet out of the.
Gotcha.
joint, right. But this 64.6% increase, $118,600 in 2 years, I'm just not,
And no improvement since the last assessment. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Walker?
With that close proximity to the water, just curious, and there's a couple of things that the assessor kind of looks at and has kind of a value on. Is there any, I don't know, usually when you're that close to the water, things kind of get rusty or?
Rusty?
Yeah, just wondering if there's anything kind of from a appearance standpoint that maybe we should know about that may be a little bit,
no, being down there for 37 years.
You know how to take care of
You don't
it.
do anything in metal.
right?
Stainless steel, plastic, or concrete.
Yeah.
So no improvements, okay.
And no other improvements, the riprap and the breakwater and all has been in for quite some time.
Long time, okay.
And riprap, to replace it, you can't, it's not gonna go anywhere, number one. And if it does, the property's gone anyway.
Right.
Yeah. If they move that armor stone riprap.
You got the big armor stone down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Ransom did it many years ago.
Yeah.
Or it might have been, the other one,
Earth Resources?
Earth Resources.
Yeah.
The Brown brothers,
Yep.
good guys.
Yeah.
All good guys. But don't y'all think that's a little high for 2 years?
Yeah.
Well, the reason that it's gone up, it's really more like 5 years, because the last assessments were done in
2022.
2019.
2019? No.
Yeah, and so
Well,
they put the assessment like each year, but it hasn't really, they haven't done a reassessment since 2019, and of course, the real estate market's gone a little
we.
A little crazy since
And I,
then.
and I understand it, but I was in the construction business.
Yeah.
And I know how much it, to build that exact same house has gone up even in 5 years.
Right,
That's 64.6%.
yeah.
And if you look at the adjoining properties in the assessments, I think the one to our left, which is a trailer, is, their improvements are listed at $1,800. That one right there.
Actually, they're showing no improvement value there.
No, okay.
So,
Well, I can understand it.
yeah.
I mean, he's a nice guy, he's my neighbor, I think the world of him, but, it's like.
Is he still living,
Buck husband? Or
George?
husband? Yeah,
And his son is Chip, right?
right,
His Chip's wife Heather,
is a veterinarian.
yeah, and her kids her daughter and my daughter and classmates together.
Yeah, they're nice people.
So I've been dropping them off after basketball practice a lot of times when Heather couldn't get there.
You know, I think I saw you down there on the road one time.
I got a red SUV, so I'm
Yep, yeah, we
constantly
talked.
dropping them off.
We
Yeah, that's
talked,
right.
We
yeah.
talked, yeah. Yeah, I think the world of Heather. and
Yeah,
Chip. She's
yeah.
a good gal. And they live in a trailer on 35.
Right here, I think, right?
Nope, it's 35A 1.18A. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, 35A 118A, right there. And, but George owns that too.
That's right.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that what it came up as? Oh, you gotta change it. 35A, yeah, so you're looking across the street from us, yeah. Okay, go down to 35A 1.8, or 1.8, I think that's it. Huh?
That's the balls.
Okay, then.
That's
it's
Crails.
it's the
That's
next
the
one.
next street over.
35A 17, I think, or 18. Yeah, that's Bart, that's BJ. So it'd be 1.8. It's right, it's across the street from there, really. Where's that 1.8 come up at?
There it is, 18-bit.
Yeah. And they got the, what, the improvement value on that at?
0.
0.
Yeah. And it's a pretty nice trailer.
Yeah,
They-
up on Pylon. those-
Yeah, you've
yeah.
seen. So that's, you know.
We did
that's-
that yesterday, right? If it's a trailer or then sometimes they tax it as personal property, depending, like with the lady in Whitestone.
Right.
That was kind of the weird thing with her little building and her having, hers was up on pilings as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll tax that as personal property, as if, I don't know exactly how they make the
It matter. I
determination.
don't-
Well, I can tell you, if it's on a permanent foundation and the tongue has been removed, they tax as real estate.
Okay,
If it hadn't been, it still taxes personal property through,
DMV.
like DMV, like a title.
Cars.
Yeah, title.
Yeah.
Car.
I mean, it really doesn't matter to me. Most of the trailers down there, y'all got valued at $1,800.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of crazy. There is one house there, the last house that sold in Bald Eagle Estates, that I can't even find on there. And it sold, the house and the property, and the house about our size, for $17,500.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the sign go up and I called and they said it's sold.
Wow.
People had owned it, and I think she got to the point, you know, nobody was living in it, that she couldn't pay the taxes or something. She put it on the market. I called them, they said, I'm sorry, I sold it. I said, how much? They said, $17,500. Yeah.
Whew.
So all I'm saying is, it's not a real desirable neighborhood.
Right.
Like some of them are.
Right,
We're fortunate, we're on the end, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just kind of giving an idea of the neighborhood, and then I get the bill for, or the assessment at an awful lot.
Right.
Well, $517,100 for the land and the house.
Anybody have any more questions? Mr. Walker? Okay, thank you for coming in, buddy. I appreciate it.
If y'all need this, welcome to have it.
We've actually, let's see.
Just all the neighbors.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that would be great, thank you.
Yeah.
Very helpful. We go through and look at all these.
Yeah. You don't happen to have a copy machine? I don't think I have a copy of that.
You know what? I'll scan it real quick.
Okay. So how's everything in the county? Everything doing well?
So far, so good.
Yeah, I know y'all under a lot of stress with all this kind of stuff, but
It's important, it's important for the taxpayers, it's important for, the county, just to make sure that everyone feels that they're getting treated fairly. And I mean, there are some times we've found some inaccuracies, so
yeah.
it's a good thing to make sure there's a checks and balances to correct these things, so.
And I'm the type of person, I think everything should be equal, like your last guy, you assessed it $40,000 less, I'd have come to you and said, hey, we need to assess it with the right amount, I'll pay the taxes.
And unfortunately, he didn't look at his tax card, because I don't think he realized that his land went down 40,000, but.
Yeah, and now it should go up, and his dwelling, I think y'all said was about a 20-some% increase or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And mine was 64. I said, whoa.
That's right.
And we do live in Richmond, and I have my Henrico County, and they went up,
Chickahominy Bluffs Court?
yeah.
Yep,
You familiar with that area?
I am born and raised there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chickahominy Bluffs?
Not Chickahominy, no, I'm from West End area, Henrico County, but,
Yeah, I think we went up 15.9% total.
but do y'all go up every year?
Huh?
I know mom and dad, they get reassessed every year or 2 years in Henrico County.
And Henrico went from 2023 to 2024, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And I think they're like a $2.50 per hundred of assess.
Let's see, when was the assessment? I don't think it actually has it on here,
Yeah.
but I think their land went up 8.3% and their building went up 16.3%. But that's a year.
Yeah.
Everything's going up.
Oh, I know, it.
Is that your notice from Richmond
From
that
Henrico.
you're looking at? I'm just curious, because we're talking about our notices that, or some, it's not our notices, the county notices.
They look very similar.
Chesterfield, I don't remember if they did theirs every year.
Take a
or
picture of
not.
that if you want.
Tax rate,
Remember now.
tax percentage change.
I really
So
don't
it
know.
actually shows you the,
The land went up 8.3%. The building went up 16.3%.
because it says the tax and the tax rate, and then the tax rate has a little star by it, because the tax is the same number.
Yeah, 85 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's these two, thank you so much for showing me this.
Yeah.
Because these two numbers are the same, so it's not 2022, 2023, 2024. And then there's a little star by the tax rate, which I'm sure says that it's
You all right?
So- Subject to change?
something, I don't see where, it's got a little star by it, but I don't see where it comes down here. I feel like this is not quite as inflammatory as
Yeah. Yeah.
what we sent out, because it gives you this new tax number.
Oh, I got you, which is,
On-
y'all didn't increase the tax number, right? Just the-
No, that was based on the current tax number, the tax rate. But you said May, right, Crystal? In May, the Board of Supervisors,
Well, they'll probably start tax deliberations next month.
and then they'll set a new tax rate in May.
Okay, so.
But that
it's
number
0%.
changes always, but when people get the notice from us going, oh, guess what? Here's your new values, it went up 50%.
Yeah.
And if you're basing that on the old tax rate, the current one, everyone's like, good Lord, that's a lot of increase. So
Yeah.
that's where they've got to do a balancing act to get that tax rate down so where it's not such a huge increase and burden on the taxpayers, but also raising the values to where they need to be currently, so.
You're welcome to take a picture of this too, if y'all wanna.
Yeah, I
Look at
appreciate
it.
it, unless somebody else wants
Very
to.
similar, very similar, but maybe
Yeah.
send it out like this. Yeah, yeah, all right, well,
Thank you, buddy, and we'll,
Yes, sir.
in
Thank you.
2-3 weeks' time, you'll get a letter from us with the decision, so.
all right, I'll see you.
Oh, you mean?
Thank you, buddy, I'll see you around the neighborhood, yep.
Yeah.
How you doing?
That was hearsay.
Good. Mr. Hall?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, because they.
You can come up to the podium there and give us just 2 seconds to pull your, this is Mr. Hall.
My whole dissertation?
That's right. Let's see.
So, yeah, I guess I just have
Hang on
a-
hang on one second, Mr.
Yeah.
Hall. Let me pull up your information here so everybody can see what we got. All right, Maratico.
Yep,
All right, so what we've got on the big board here, we've got on our screens too.
okay.
And then we're gonna pull, we've got the tax cards from the current assessment plus the old assessment with field notes,
Right.
so we can kind of follow.
So I got questions, where what the basis is for the increase. The increase on the land is 276%. A little bizarre. I think one of the mistakes that your contractor may have made is it's 3.5 acres, 3 of which is marsh. The improvements are on about a half acre and change, I guess. So I can see an increase, but the 276, almost 3 times the value is absurd. So that's, it's a question and a complaint all wrapped up into one, I guess. I don't know where we go from here, but,
All right, so it looks like total acreage, 3.650.
correct, yep,
Of which the assessor says 2.65 is swamp or marsh.
correct.
And you
At
say it's
least.
more like,
At least.
more like
yeah,
3.5, you think?
I never measured the land that's not in a marsh, but that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's saying that there's a 1 acre of the home site area.
Yeah, I think that's a stretch, but, I mean, I can buy that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But it looks like your really significant jump from your 2019 assessment, which on the land was 76.3, went up to 276.5.
Right,
And then your improvements from last time went from 186.9 to 362.7.
right.
So the land hadn't changed.
Well, the
Has
land
it?
has changed. What
What-
do you mean the land hasn't changed? You mean the value or the actual land?
The land, you haven't done anything to change your land.
Right.
So that's, I'm trying to see where the jump of $200,000 is in the land.
Yeah, I tried to, I couldn't figure it out.
You couldn't find oil, getting straight gold?
No,
Okay.
no gold, no diamonds. no nothing.
Okay. And so let's talk about the improvements. Let's see.
So the improvements are, I have made improvements in the investments in the improvements to the tune of about $75,000.
Is that in since 2019?
Yes,
Since 2019, last assessment?
yes.
Okay.
Things like a roof, things like heat, AC. So it's an 1893 house that we're restoring little by little.
Okay.
So there have been some improvements made. Again, the improvements, roughly $80,000.
Okay.
In substantive improvements. The
3 bedrooms,
3 bedrooms.
1 full bath, 1 half bath,
Correct.
plaster walls,
Yep.
wood and carpet for flooring.
No, wood flooring.
Just
Ripped
wood,
up the
okay.
carpeting, Yeah.
So the old tax card said space heater, that's now, you got heat pump?
Correct.
Okay. Detached 2-car garage?
No.
No.
There is a building, not a garage, but it's a workshop.
Okay. So categorize it more as a shed?
Yeah.
About same size as what the garage was?
It could pass for 2-car garage, yeah.
But we're calling it a shed. Okay. Porch and screen porch?
Yep.
Okay. Private well, private septic.
Correct.
All right. Do you all see anything else that,
Yeah, I am baffled.
with the land?
Well, no.
And the improvements?
The other improvements, they've got a figure there for 49.3.
Reset.
So on the new card,
Yep.
but, I mean, they have written in, you have riprap and a pier and,
Riprap has been there. It's probably 40 years old.
Okay.
I do have a pier.
Okay.
I have a dock. The dock is part of the improvements. I've torn out the old dock, replaced it with a new dock.
okay,
The pier that goes over the marsh is original, so I'm guessing 35 years or so.
okay.
That needs to be changed, right?
I
mean,
know,
that
'cause-
it needs to be listed.
Yeah, because
Look,
that's
if you,
what I'm
if you
trying
look
to.
on the field notes,
Yeah, you
he's-
think that's where they got it from?
he's made notes, but it doesn't
I know.
show up on the other improvements.
That's what I'm like, is that where this figure's coming from? It's kind of.
That would be I mean, we can look at some other properties, but I mean, he's got the pump house, the pier,
Well, Beth
call
can
it a-
probably tell us.
2 boat lifts?
3.
3 boat
3 boat
lifts?
lifts? Okay,
the pier cap, that just needs to be
yeah,
corrected. I feel like there's no way that would all add up to 49,000.
I know.
Looking at all the other
it's
ones.
kind of arbitrary how they just sort of.
Well,
threw-
what shocks me is, again, looking at the old card,
Right.
home site,
Right,
1 acre. The new card, home site, 1 acre, from $75,000 to $250,000.
yeah,
And then the Swamp Marsh is $500 an acre
yep.
to $10,000 an acre.
10,000, right,
On swamp?
for swamp. Yeah.
Well,
There must be some
So if
nutritional
that's-
value in that swamp
Yeah, the
marsh
animals.
for $10,000.
Those big
If that's-
machines.
Maybe
they
use it
got.
for facial stuff?
That's
I
right.
don't know.
If that's the actual value, I'm gonna call your mom and have her look at it again.
Yeah,
Say, come get some of
Yeah.
this creek mud and sell the house.
that's right,
There's
Wow.
alligators in there.
that's right.
So those, I've got the same questions. I don't know where he came up with the numbers. I mean, you know,
He didn't show up there.
the appreciation runs anywhere from 3 to 8%, depending upon
Yeah.
whether it's Zillow or somebody else. We have made some improvements. Happy to pay the difference, you know what I mean? Happy to keep up to speed with the tax assessment, but this is just,
But not 143%.
there's no way.
Wow.
There's no way.
right, you bought it in 2019, and my mother was your realtor. I'm
Yeah.
realizing who.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you. I don't think we ever had a chance to meet, but I remember the house and everything.
If you have any for sale signs in the car, let me know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know like what other home sites in Maratico were back then, if the old assessment, because you're kind of low there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
wonder
Oh, yeah.
if the old assessor devalued or put a kind of a unique value on this home site because it's this old.
Yeah, I
But
looked
obviously
at,
that's the big.
I looked
the
at
big
comps
thing.
too. There's really only 2 comps. And both of those are all over the map. One's my next door neighbor, which is much the same house as I have, but it's all redone, refurbished, remodeled, whatever.
Total value.
And that's sold for $350. I guess 2 years ago, must have been 22, 21. And then there's another house that sold recently, which has not been improved, and that place is sold for $219, I think. Yeah, $219. So, you know, I'm in the middle there somewhere, where I don't know from a comp perspective.
Right.
But the land is the killer.
Well, just looking at that neighboring property, you obviously didn't put the home site as high,
No.
just from, we got to pull the tax cards on the neighboring.
Yeah, my only
properties.
thought was he assumed that the marsh was buildable, that it really wasn't a marsh, it was just a nice grassy field. I had no idea.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
So that's all I got.
Well, thank you
No,
for,
thank you very much. I
for
do
bringing that
appreciate
to our
it.
attention, because that's, again, that's exactly why we're here, for reasons just like yours, and we're gonna have to dig into it, and obviously, there's a big discrepancy of 143%.
Yeah, I tried to call the contractor a couple times, and with no avail, he's checked out, so I have some nice little questions for him too. Thanks very much.
Well, at least we will take action, I can promise you that. And then you'll get a letter in the mail in about 2-3 weeks' time
Okay.
with our decision, so.
Great, sounds good.
All right, thank you,
Thank
have a good
you.
weekend.
Nice to see you. We can pull that one up, I'd say that, I know some stuff in Radico has gone up, but I don't think market value for when that sold for $250 in 2019
No way.
would be
That's
640.
insane.
That is crazy. Have we heard from, Jack Geyer? Oh, it's not 11:30 yet.
And Carter's
Carter's the
next,
next
right?
one.
Dan Carter's next, okay, so we are caught up.
With,
That land value and the other one just doesn't make
That's,
sense.
no, that's just like,
And RJ with your uncle, that doesn't make sense either. Oh,
oh, here though.
You'll be all right.
see, I was here yesterday, where were y'all? Crystal
I
had to
was-
call me yesterday to remind me, no, I'm just kidding.
I was at the dentist, I was in Nutsville, I ended up in Matthews, I was all over the place, man.
That's crazy.
It was gorgeous.
Beautiful day. We in,
Beautiful day, yeah.
and we in here.
RJ's uncle was the land.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
something we need to ask Marlon about, just to get her opinion on whether or not we should drop the home site to go back to the old way? Or drop?
Well,
keep
I
the home
think,
site,
I
or
think we're
is
gonna
it-
have to look at that for Mr. Hall too. And
Yeah.
there was Henry Dixon's, wasn't it? Or there was another one.
Well, I kind of feel like with that piece of land, doesn't really matter what the other stuff, I mean, kind of the first question is, should it be assessed the way that it was
Before.
previously with no home site because he's farming it?
Yeah.
And there's no
Right.
perk on it,
Yeah.
Right.
in which
Why?
case you'd take off the home site and maybe you look at that residual value, or should it be assessed the way that it is now? But then it's taken off that.
Well, I mean,
Right.
yeah, because the assessor said, oh, we made a big mistake. I mean, obviously, you putting 3 extra homes, or, potential home sites on that. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's a question for her, or we just make the decision ourselves, or kind of get her opinion on which way it should be.
I guess I should get her opinion, but
Yeah, if we got 30 minutes before somebody gets
Yeah,
here.
30 minutes.
I feel like that one should be pretty easy, it's just a
right.
question of,
15.
next one's 11:15, yeah.
11:15.
Well, let's go to,
Which one was that?
Tony
one?
Reynolds.
Oh, Reynolds, okay. So
I think that's gonna be an easy one to do.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, oh, yeah, here we go. Let's just suck it to them.
And that one gentleman, Mr. Thurman, kind of feel like he was wanting to argue more of just the overall
Yeah.
increases. That's not us, that's,
Right.
I thought to tell them to come to the Board of Supervisor meeting.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Is it, I was like looking at his and then the gentleman on Bald Eagle, and I guess it's just not, but like what their equalized tax rate would have been.
Can you see
I
them?
don't know if that's something we should have like if that's worth trying to explain to people, or if that's not our job to explain that to people. But I mean, his equalized tax rate would have been, I think, a couple $100 more. And it's a question of what are they gonna set the tax rate at?
Right.
That's gonna come and address that in a second. This is Ms. Carr.
Okay. Hi, Ms.
Hello.
Carter. If you want to come up to the podium, right there, and we're going to give us just a minute to pull up your property here. Let's see.
Can we ask it, I can,
Go ahead.
which one is it, Reynolds?
Yep.
Do you have copies of those in front of you, Crystal? Would you just give her
Here you go.
The old tax card, the new tax card?
I've already looked at it.
Okay.
The answer to your question is, it doesn't have to have a home site.
So we can go back to the old tax
Go
card.
back the same way.
Perfect,
Okay,
thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Yay, that was easy.
Easy. All right. Let's see. Okay, everybody ready for Ms. Carter?
Uh-huh.
Ms. Carter, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Well, thank you for coming, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to you,
Okay.
let you tell us a little bit about your property and what issues you have with your assessment. I've got it pulled up here on the screen, and we've got it in front of our screens.
Okay.
And then we'll go through and ask some questions and make sure we've got all of our data correct. And then at the end of the day, we go through and make a decision on each one of these. And then we'll let you know in writing by mail within 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. I wonder if maybe somebody looked at the wrong house. This is a 3-room house, not a 3-bedroom, a 3-room house. And it has a lot of damage, which I happen to have some pictures on my phone if anybody's interested in looking at them. I don't understand why the value went up 19% or something.
It looks to me like your land value really hasn't changed,
Right, it's just the house.
just the house, and the house went up from 26.3 to 99.6.
Yeah. That's why I think, did that somebody perchance look at the wrong house?
May have. So let's go, so they say the home is about 840 square foot? You say it's a three-room house?
Yeah. I
What's the condition, would you say?
very poor.
Is it livable?
It is livable, but there are 2 broken windows out. The soffit is falling off the roof, and I simply will not make any more repairs. I mean, I don't want to bore y'all with my family problems, but I have a grandson that is not capable or won't be capable, and the house is falling apart, and since he no longer will, he has never assumed any responsibility for it, and so that's my,
So is it safe to say, since 2019, since the last assessment, you haven't done anything to improve the property?
no.
Okay.
I did for the first couple of years that he lived there, but I have kind of gone into hard love mode.
Gotcha.
But, a 3-room house, I don't understand how, it just, in
What,
its
is it-
best day, it wasn't worth it.
Is it a bedroom, a bathroom, and then a kitchen,
It's-
living room
it's-
area?
Half of if you're facing the house, the left side is 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. These are very small bedrooms.
Okay.
Bathroom in the middle.
Okay.
On the right side is 1 big room. There's a washing machine, a stove, anything a single or even a couple living there, young couple.
Gotcha.
But
So then it still remains 4 then. Why wouldn't you count the kitchen that large number as being 4 rooms?
1, 2. If you count the bathroom as being a room, yeah. 2 bedrooms, bathroom, and another room.
So this 4 is correct?
Do you usually count the bathroom as a room?
No?
Yeah, you don't usually, right? Because like, if you,
Count that
I know we're
unless you
gonna
want
put
to live
stuff
in
in
a
the
bathroom,
MLS.
which my son does.
Maybe the stove is in the bathroom.
I don't know if that would make any difference at all to change that from 4 to 3, but.
Right,
We can get Beth to do that.
yeah.
So then,
The value set for this stuff, like I'm just, immediately the plumbing value doubled. Is that something that's set by him, or is that a figure that the county plugs in?
That's a good question.
Because it doesn't sound like she's made any
Plumbing improvements.
physical
Yep.
plumbing improvements,
Yep.
so.
we didn't get to the carpet.
Factor went up, doesn't make much sense. Physical depreciation went up, so he was trying to help there. You said you had pictures on your phone, ma'am?
Yes. Now, I do not have a $2,000.
That's okay.
That's awesome, ma'am. My dream is to go back to a flip phone.
That's right.
My children are giving me a fancy flip phone that does lots of phone. And I'm not happy with it.
Did he dropped the condition down, right, from the old one to the new one? From G to F?
No, he went from F to G. He brought it up.
I can bring these up or you can look at
No,
them small.
I'm sorry, I got that backwards. He did.
Um,
See.
He did bring it
This
down.
is. Okay, that's the steps. Wait a minute. How do I get back? Okay. This is a broken oak window. This is another broken window. There's cardboard or
Plywood or something over it.
This is the soffit or not, whatever, that's falling off, so.
Dale?
I'll let you drive.
Just use the up and down arrow.
Yeah, did y'all know that you can get a flip phone that goes on, it's like that?
My wife's grandfather, he likes technology, but he doesn't know how to operate it. So we got him a flip phone like that, and he knows how to open it and close it. That's pretty much about it, so. But I think we do have the thing where he can tell it to dial, like call Katie or call, so it does that part. That's what he knows about it, but that's the extent of it. But he didn't know how to turn it on and off, so we had to do it where when you open it, it comes on. We close it, turns off.
I think I like him.
Thank you for sharing those with us. Do y'all have any questions for Ms. Carter?
Do you have carpet or vinyl floors?
They're not,
Just wood?
I guess they're vinyl. I mean, I don't, they look, they're fake wood.
No carpet?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Electric heat. I guess.
Baseboard heat? Electric baseboard heat?
Electric, uh-huh.
Expensive.
Anything else from Ms. Carter? No. Well, Ms. Carter, thank you for coming in today and bringing us those pictures. That was helpful. Like I said, at the end of the day, we'll deliberate on each case, and then we'll send you a letter in the mail within 2 to 3 weeks' time of the decision on any of these modifications, so.
Okay. Well, thank you all.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Y'all be good. Attorney Reynolds,
Yep,
make a decision on Mr. Reynolds.
yeah.
In a way, it would almost be easier to keep the home site and then just take the 90,000 per acre for the creekfront property.
Just do
But
it.
if we take the home site off, then we gotta look at that 90,000 an acre for the creekfront, because that, just taking the home site away, it helps. But still, you end up with three home sites valued. So you kinda got 4 home sites, right? You got the home site, and then he's got 90,000 per acre for 3 acres of creekfront, which we haven't seen on any other property. So if you just take away the home site, then you still got 90,000 per acre.
I will, look at the old tax card, he's got 20,000 per acre for the creek front.
So I don't know if they need to go look and find other, this just seems like one of those quirky ones where there's some sort of odd category in there that you don't find any other places. And I don't know how Jason came up with what value to put for creekfront.
Well, he
Because
came up
sometimes
with,
you get like waterfront residual is
well, but
usually.
remember, he
weight-
said he made a mistake, so I think he
Less.
just totally blew that one.
Yeah,
Because the old assessment was $20,000 for each of those acres.
Yep.
And then 4,500 for the open land, and then 2 for the wooded.
what do you think you could sell 17 acres for in that area with, I mean, you try and, right, the assessment probably should go up, but land didn't go up a whole lot in that area. Do you do 30,000 for the creek front, or 25,000?
If it doesn't perk, if it's all farmland, I don't know, you could sell it for that. With-
Does it-
With mud out there.
So he said 10 acres is actually open land.
And is in land use, right?
No.
Yes,
Yes?
That's what we didn't, I didn't see that on the card,
Yeah,
but
I'm seeing it.
it's on the,
It's on the notes of the new card.
see the new on the bottom right-hand side?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
but that doesn't affect the assessment, that just affects how that's taxed, right? Is that how that works? You don't see the lower taxes on that because the assessment's lower. There it is.
RJ, that creek front, it's all wooded, right?
Yes, it is. The entire frontage is wooded.
Well, for one thing, I think we need to change the 6 acres open land to 10 acres.
Right. I agree.
Because that's what, that's what is there.
Home site goes away.
Home site goes away, so then we're left with 4,
So then 3.1 of wooded. Obviously,
yeah,
No,
and then 3.1 acres. At, was it before it was, he had open land at, that's 4,500. Wooded at 2,000, He's got wood at 2,000 here too.
Do we just go back to the old rate for creek fund, or do we need to? I feel like it's just gonna be impossible to find another property with that designation.
Yeah.
I don't think that I guess that's the question, has that creek front value? It's just kind of I don't know, it just seems like a bad way to do it, right? Because 2/3 of that creek front are marsh and mud,
Exactly.
and then maybe
But-
1/3 of it, he had a dock at one point that he could get a 16-foot boat to if you watch the tide. So, I mean, I think we'd be justified with going back to the old value, or,
For all 4 acres, all 3 acres?
yeah, or do you add something to it, just since most everybody's has gone up some, but most of the land hasn't gone up, right? Not seeing, particularly out in that area. So that's also pretty weird that but it would go up some, just because he's gonna end up with some more land and open land.
Well, he's paying more taxes because he's got more in open land.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's just a question, what do we put that creek front at? Back to where it was? Do we need to see if we can find any other creek front, or do we do back to where it was plus 10% or something? I think we can justify back to where it was, because for the vast majority of people in that area, their land values have not increased. And two-thirds of.
You're saying take the wooded 3.1 and tax his creek front?
No, so take the 3 acres of creek frontage that he's got at 90,000 an acre, and go back to the 20,000 an acre from the previous assessment? Or do you put a different value on it? Because property values have increased. I think you'd be able to sell, was it that it didn't perk, or that they had never perked it?
I don't think they've ever tried.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it won't.
If there is a family home next to it, right?
Yeah, I guess it's actually, it was once part of the whole property, and then that was cut off, so it is adjacent, but it's
Or would you-
easy, it's very distinguishable from, I don't know if you can would Google Maps help you?
Let's see what Dawson is.
Because it's,
Hey. What's up, guys? How's it going? How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you too.
So this was 9,000. That's next door.
for the,
For the home
And
site?
2,000 per residual.
that's the house that's on the farm,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's his
Right,
property, that's his property right here.
yeah.
But that basically has no water, right? That's just
Well, it's
marsh.
got same as this does.
It's got a very minimal amount, but I wouldn't even call it water, it's
Did you get a
mud.
boat back to it?
No, probably
Yeah.
not. I mean, at that point, you're walking in cattails and mud.
But that's gonna be the same for probably 2/3 of this property too.
Probably at least half of it, yeah. Until where, I don't remember the old pier, but wherever he said that old pier was,
He said it was right off, here.
that somewhere, yeah.
So that's, you can see that's a third of it that's actual usable waterfront, if you want to call it that, and 2/3 is not. But
Pick it back up for trying, I mean, that's just the question, right? What to call those? Do we do 2 acres at early low value and then keep the 1 acre at the higher value? Or go back to what it was before, since it's a farm property?
let's come back to
Pick it
that.
back up, all right.
Hey, guys, how are you? Good to see y'all too. Well, come on up. We are all ready for you guys. Come on up to the podium. Yep. And what we'll do is let you guys give your presentation, and then, bless you. We've got the tax map parcels, of course, pulled up here, and then on our screens, we've got the emails y'all sent Crystal, the tax cards here. So after y'all give your presentation, we'll ask some questions, make sure we've got data and facts correct. And then at the end of the day today, we'll do our deliberations and go case by case, so we're not making you all sit through hours of us trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And then you all get notified by mail within 2 to 3 weeks of the decision, so.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to you guys.
I think for starters, we appreciate you guys doing this. I'm sure it's a lot of work, and, so anyway, thanks. I think we just wanted to come to a fair agreement on the value of the land. This parcel individual does not, by itself, does not have water access. It's sold, as a couple of you know, David and Neil, the realtors on the transaction. The purchase price was 2.15, 2.5 years ago. And there's been maintenance improvements because there was a lot of problems with the house, but no real other upgrades, so to speak. And the value on the structure is now over $350 a square foot, and that are on the improvements rather. And the value on the lot, being a non-waterfront lot, it's a water view lot, is double, more than double, I think, what the neighbor's lot was, with those 2 parcels combined. And, theirs is waterfront, even though it's on that pond and not on the river. But, so that's it, just looking at the value of that property, and if that seems fair. It seems like it was possibly valued including the beach lot in front of it.
This area here.
Exactly, and, it's really a separate parcel, and I feel like should be treated as a separate parcel individually. Is that, anything else to add to that? And, then say, okay, well, should the value of the beach parcel go up, but also that is mostly unbuildable and doesn't have any services right now. And so, you put them together and there's a lot more value than keeping them separately.
Right.
And we happen to own them together, but I think that's it. I don't know if there are any questions.
In 2002, this tax card says merger. Did y'all merge anything in 2002?
I think in 2002, it was before our time, but I think she had the other property.
I'm sorry, 22. Y'all didn't do any merger then, did
I
you?
don't think so.
Huh.
Maybe as part of the transfer, there may have been a little triangle that was like at the tip of the property that wasn't connected.
Oh, you know what?
Separate lot, maybe.
I think you're right. I think it was
Yeah, there
down
was a
here.
little corner
Yeah,
down there.
Something like that.
That's it. Yep. All right, let's see.
Oh, that whole strip.
So no significant improvements since y'all bought it?
Not really, I mean, we put in a big garden.
Not $1 million worth of improvements?
No, we fixed a lot of stuff, but there were structural issues as
Yeah.
well, and there was roof problems and ceiling problems. So there's been a lot of repairs.
Yeah, and there's been a whole bunch of erosion on the beach as well, so advertised.
Yeah. The beach is actually about an acre smaller than it shows on the tax map now. That's a separate property.
Let's see, factor?
Yeah.
47.
That didn't change from the last one.
No, factor of 225?
Yeah. I always feel like the really small homes and really big homes, just because there's so few of them in the area, it's always a little bit hard to sort of understand how, because obviously for the assessor, he's not looking at each individual property and saying, I agree with this number. He's just putting a whole bunch of data in, and then it spits out a number. I always feel like the real small homes and the real big homes, sometimes the numbers can get a little bit weird. But this is an unusual one with the,
Well, you got economic
the
depreciation,
two.
12% too.
Right.
huh. And that's, came over from the old one?
No. That was a new one.
You're liking that. So arbitrary.
And we feel like the property next door that has improvements, 34,275, is about the same size house and about the same size lot. And it shows an acre smaller, but it's valued about half, under half. Is it 275A, David, that has the house on it? Correct, that 275 is just all the woods? Yeah, it's a nice little rolling driveway in.
Yeah, about an acre less, but almost 400,000 less in value.
Same
Land.
views, same size.
Yeah.
And fun views.
Yeah, I found access. The house is pretty similar in size? Mm-hmm. Bigger.
Very.
275A.
Yeah, I mean, just felt that per square foot value seems real high. It's about 2,000. The economic depreciation is, I think that would fall in the bucket of trust the appraiser, if you put it on there for some reason. I can't think of what
For
around
down
them
there.
would be
Uh-uh.
Can't either.
affecting them like a gun range or a,
Right.
there's just a number on here for economic depreciation, that doesn't show up on many properties. It makes yours lower, so you don't want to change it, probably. Just, maybe it's when we moved in.
No, I know what it is. It's those warship barges out front that, you know,
that's
that
right.
just sometimes hinder your view a little bit.
Yep.
That could be it. No, that's definitely something for us to look into, is the neighboring properties and the differences in the land values.
Thanks.
Because you're right, I mean, you've got your neighbor who's pond, and but your home site, you're right, it's totally separate from the beach.
It is.
Yep,
Cool.
yeah.
This is another one that also just has total improvements.
I saw that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
But yet on his,
And then a lot of the improvements are on the beach property, like the pier and everything.
Right.
yeah, so we need to separate those two and
Yeah,
get that onto the card.
yeah.
Yeah, and the pier is 24 years old now, so.
You guys have any more questions? Neil?
Yeah, I don't think it's just kind of for us going through and looking at neighboring properties and,
Calculating numbers.
yeah.
RJ? Ms.
All
Davis?
good.
All good? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, okay, I didn't even recognize you, man.
How are you?
See you also.
Can see, but
Long time. Awesome.
We got somebody on the board who knows a lot about land now, so
Yeah.
help us out.
All right, well, good to see everybody.
Well, thank you all for coming in, and we'll let you guys know in 2 to 3 weeks' time. Y'all got the mailbox at the house still, 1026 Beach Road?
Yep.
All right, we'll send a letter there for the decision, but thank you all, good to see y'all again.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
hey, why is a home site 2 acres?
What?
Why is the home site designated as 2 acres? Is that random?
No, it should be 1 acre home site.
Well, but
That was during COVID, they spread everybody out.
it may, that may adversely
So it's good for me.
adversely
if anybody gets
increase
mad at us,
what we're trying to do,
first
but
one there.
it just.
Coming out.
No, that's a good question.
I'm pretty safe back here.
Normally, a home site, 1 acre,
That's not typical, right?
and then the land around it's residual. Now, you might have 1 acre home site and 1 acre residual, it's waterfront.
Right, but that
Maybe more.
residual figure is gonna be,
A lot lower. Yep. Yep.
and maybe,
Ken? How you doing, David? How's it feel to be sitting down there?
Howdy.
What's up,
How are
Ken?
ya?
I was about to say, how's it feel to be sitting down there, buddy? All right, Ken, let us get to your file real quick. You can come on up, and you know the drill.
I don't know RJ, but I'm Ken Knoll, and I sat in your chair 5 years ago.
That's right.
How's the family, Ken? Everybody good?
Everybody's good.
Good.
I didn't move out of the area. Don thought we moved out of the area. I said,
Yeah.
no, we're just taking a lower profile after retirement.
Wow.
Somebody asked me that question. I said, no, I think him and Karen are still here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, Ken, the 2614C.
Before we start, I got one question. When I came in and talked to the assessor, he said he'd get back to me in 2 to 3 weeks. I never heard a word. Has anybody else had this problem?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, somebody ought to get that word to Don and make sure that, I mean, because they didn't do the service that we paid them for.
Yeah.
If we had $1 for every time we heard that statement,
Yep.
past
Well,
2
they
hearings.
shouldn't be used again because of that. I mean, that, it's just wrong. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Crystal got so mad at me for asking her to look at different parcels that now they've made us the driver of this. I just want to point that out. You remember last time we were asking, she said, forget it, I'm done. You do it on your own now. So Glenn has got it figured out now. We can drive ourselves, so.
Cool.
All
Well,
right, y'all ready?
My only question on this thing is the structure value. The land stayed the same, got no problem there. It's a 1960 house. All I did put $70,000 worth of solar panels on the roof, but that's exempt. And I've put insulation in the walls and insulation in the ceiling. Other than that, it's what it was. So I guess my question is, what's the depreciation factor being used on that property? Because it should have gone up. It's 5 years older than it was 5 years ago.
went from 10 to 30.
It went up 15.6%. And that, to me, is absurd.
Well, as you remember some of these terms, so he actually kicked your physical depreciation up quite a bit from 10 to 38, but he also increased your factor.
And price per square foot.
And of course, the price per square foot
Yeah.
for everybody has gone significantly higher.
I assume the Board of Supervisors will worry about that one, so.
I would love to know, like, how is the factor something that they actually give to each individual property, or is the factor something that's, I mean, he's obviously not going through for each individual property and changing the factor. It's got something to do with his.
Yeah, and remember where it is. I mean, it's not Irvington, it's not Kilmarnock, so I don't see why the factor would be huge in that area.
Only thing I can think of, maybe he's trying to give he's got in his notes renovation, new solar, even though that he's not giving that any value on the improvements.
Yeah. 'cause that's-
Maybe he's saying that that increases the factor by,
You can't go both ways.
Right.
It's either exempt or it's not exempt.
Exactly.
You can't hit me once and then hit me and say the other doesn't count.
right,
It's not right.
6%.
yeah. That's the only thing I could see that maybe he's,
Right.
that's the only really note he's added in here, but.
Right, didn't he say that the factor for it did have something to do with that land? He had some sort of, he was better than the last gentleman, I thought, in terms of, he actually came in and talked to us for a bit. Seems like all these guys have problems with communicating with property owners. But that, he had some sort of thing that he did that was supposed to take into account your home site, proximity to water and shoreline and stuff. I remember, last time we'd go through and like home site and residual, and there'd be so many differences.
Right.
And he kind of came out and said he had a way of making his computer spit those numbers out so that we should sort of expect to see those things. And I thought he said that somehow that went into factor, but yeah, I don't know why the factor would be higher between the old one and this one. Some of them, they stay the same, some of them, they go up.
Right.
Most of them, it seems like they went up. On a few of them, they went down, but not many. It is one of the not as large of an increase as some of the other people that we've seen in here.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We had two today that were over 200%
Increase.
increases, of course.
Incredible. Yeah. Is that what you guys in the real estate business are seeing?
200% increases?
Yeah.
Not 200.
We're seeing some increases, not 200.
Yeah, no kidding, yeah. All right, well, I just wanted to come in and bring it up. If you guys could take a look, either the
Oh,
appreciation or the background.
absolutely, Ken, yeah, for sure we will.
right.
And you will hear from us in writing in 2 to 3 weeks' time. I can assure you that.
Comments from them? I mean, did they provide any feedback after the meeting with them?
The assessor?
The assessor itself?
Yeah, to you, on individual properties? Nothing, right?
I haven't heard of many, I mean, I've heard some had meetings face-to-face,
Yeah.
some requested, some didn't get called back, kind of all over the place.
But no response from the assessor after those meetings?
No, he came and sat with us during the training this year and had lunch with us and answered all the questions we had. In fact, we called him Tuesday, which was our first day of hearings, and he was able to answer questions right then and there. So he's been responsive to us
Yeah.
on this process. I can't, I don't know about the,
He obviously wasn't to the individual homeowner.
that's what we've been hearing, yeah. And so that's one of the notations to the board is going to say, look, we've heard this multiple times,
Yeah.
just for y'all to know.
These guys are different than the guys last year.
Yeah, this is an individual.
Yeah, that's one.
Cowan, Jason Cowan, he's out from Midwestern part of the state. Younger guy, but he was much more receptive during our training than the previous group was, who almost came in and just,
They were too.
this is what it is, and,
Yeah, I felt that way too.
yeah.
But it doesn't help if he says he's gonna do something and doesn't do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Ken. Give our best to the family.
Take care.
Good to see
Yeah.
you again.
All right. 1:30, so let's work till 12:30, and then go and do lunch. Crystal, does that work?
That's fine. I think the pizzas will be ready at 12 in Don's office if y'all want them, if y'all want to stop by. You don't have to, but just so everybody gets something to eat, just an hour, trying to get back, going down, and trying to get tomorrow.
Right.
Points, other points. Trying to cut you short.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go back
What is it, quarter to
to
12?
Tony Reynolds. Let's get that one knocked out. So, does it make sense? And Neil, I think you were saying that maybe from that one parcel or 1 acre creek front, doing that at 20,000, and then the rest going to a wooded figure?
The only thing I would say, I guess in my mind, I don't think his assessment should go lower than it was. And I think you could certainly sell 17 acres with some waterfront, even if it's marginal for 121 out there. I guess it's just sort of a question of what to do to kind of get back close to the way it was being assessed before. So if we're gonna keep, I think if we're gonna go all the way down to 20,000, then just keep the three waterfront acres at 20,000. That might be a little bit low for the 1/3 of it that's, you know, got some boatable water on it. You know, unless we think that it was assessed too high previously.
All right, what if we did front, 1 acre, 30, and that's open, 10 acres. 45, I think it's 45 grand. And then, wooded, 2.1. 2.1 times.
I guess, does the wooded need to be 4.1?
Should be.
Because there's the 1 acre home site that we're just taking off.
But that would leave 6.1. If we do a 1 acre and then the 10 acres wooded, 10 acres open that he told us about. That would leave 6.1.
For wooded,
Yeah.
yep.
So it's 17.1 acres total, right?
Right. So the 10 open, 1 acre, if you want to call it home site or creek front, whichever,
Well, that 1 acre for the home site, we're just gonna take that out.
totally out.
Totally out.
Okay, so
So that
you
1
want-
acre's gotta go,
For,
I think for wooded probably, not for creek frontage, because that's got a higher. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that 1 acre needs to go, but I guess either on wooded or creek front. I would change it, I guess I would change it to 4.1. What was the old tax card? I guess that's kind of weird because the old tax one had 6 acres. Oh, the old one did have 4 acres of creek front. Yeah, it's 7.1 of wooded.
So you're deleting the home site,
Yeah,
and where you adding that to? I can't hear you down
it seems like that's what he did, is he took 1 acre from the creek frontage and called it a home site.
yeah, but what RJ was saying was that it's wooded right up to the creek. So I say we give them more wooded. We give them an acre if you want to call it, creek front if you want to call it.
It would be easy to show you, easier with an overhead, but like,
You want to Google Earth?
what I do. Never mind.
I'm sure we can get one in if someone's here very early.
When you go in there, there is a
What's-
section in
What's
there.
that?
This is Mr. Copeland, he's driven down from Baltimore, he doesn't have an appointment until 1:30, but I didn't know, since he's here and y'all are going, and
there. We don't know the time.
I just didn't want to be late. We can wait if you want. I don't care.
Let's finish up the Reynolds property, since we're 99% of the way there.
Yeah.
And then if we
Yeah.
weren't gonna break until 12:30 anyway, I don't mind, so that'll give us a little bit more time.
There's a section,
269 Reynolds Farm Road.
All right?
269. All right, RJ.
all right, there's,
Here's the home right here.
yep. And you can see, all right, where the field,
You wanna come drive?
no, you're good, just, but if you follow where you would come in that road, right to that end, basically the left side of that property we were talking, the water is not, is visibly cleared where you can stand in the field and see the creek.
Okay,
As you get into here, where the actual water is, all of that is woods and it's like 3 fingers in there that ravine, this one comes all the way to the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
And it's, the woods run to the top of the, whatever the water, you know.
okay.
So I'm assuming that's why he put like the difference between the wood designation and the creek lot, because,
Is that the old pier right there?
I'm not sure if that goes with that, but that may go with the adjacent property.
Yeah,
it's
it looks
got
like there's
boat
a
in it.
house
Yeah,
right there.
I don't think,
There's a house right there, that little tiny brown
it would
thing.
have kind of been off of that,
Over here,
that one, I
yeah.
think, yeah. Which again, if you come straight in there, that's about where the clearing part starts.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you an idea.
Right, so if we just go back to the old tax card and say that those categories were appropriate,
That's kinda what I'm thinking too.
then he ends, I think he winds up at 131,200 just by changing the open acres to 10 and the wooded acres to 3.1,
That does it?
Here's what,
and then keep the 4 acres at 20,000 an acre
For creek front,
for creek front.
Okay.
Because that's what was on the old assessment. And the only reason that his assessment goes up is because of the open land being a bit different.
Gotcha. So we're going open land at 10 acres, wooded to
3.1.
3.1,
Creek front to 4,
creek front to 4.
because that's how he had it on the old one.
so the rates are gonna be,
And we're keeping the creek front at 20,000 each?
Yeah,
okay,
right? I think that's, in that area, property value hasn't really been going up between, in the properties that we've seen.
and the woods we're gonna keep at 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that already, so that stayed the same.
Okay,
Everybody good with that? RJ?
I
know you can't vote on it, but Ella, you
what
good
was
on
it?
that?
So
Yes.
you're, I know you were changing, the wood acres is now 10.
No, the open land's 10,
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Open
Wooded-
land's 10.
wooded's 3.1,
oh, 3.1.
and the creek front is 4 acres. So the value on the open land still remains the 4,500.
yep,
Right.
Yep.
The wooded 3.1 per acre remains at 2,000. And the creek frontage 4 acres reverting back to the previous tax card,
The 20 on the previous,
Yep.
okay.
so you said, what was it? It was 131? Is that what you came up with, Neil?
Yeah,
130?
131, 200.
Okay,
Are y'all in agreement with that,
Yeah.
Ella?
Right. I'm good.
Oh,
That's
wait for
great.
Crystal.
Crystal. Yes.
Got one for you, Crystal. For Mr. Reynolds, 3129. RJ is abstaining from the vote since he's related to the taxpayer. We are changing the open, let's see, we're getting rid of the home site, right? We're changing the open land from 6 acres to 10 acres at the same rate, $4,500 an acre. The wooded, we're taking from 7.1 acres to 3.1 acres. Wooded acres were taken from 7.1 acres down to 3.1 acres at the same value of $2,000 an acre. And the creek front from 3 acres, upping it to 4 acres at a value of $20,000 per acre. Sure.
All right, so no home site at all.
Correct.
An open land to 10 acres
Right,
at $4,500 per acre.
right.
Wooded land acreage from 7.1 to 3.1.
At 2,000 an acre, yep, right,
Creek front goes up to 4 acres
right,
at $20,000 per acre.
correct.
Okay, that's an RJ.
So we have four votes for and RJ abstains.
I'm getting one copy, 2 more copies from Mr. Copeland.
All right.
Okay.
Got one. All right, let's see. 846,
All right.
Yeah. Take one and pass it around, please.
all righty. One for you and one for RJ.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, this is down. Oh, cool. Oh.
All right, everybody ready for Mr. Coakley?
Yes.
Mr. Coakley, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Gosh, I appreciate the
If
courtesy of the early in.
absolutely, well, you've driven a long ways for this, so we don't want to make you wait any longer. And
I did, and my truck, the clock stopped working years and years ago, so I put a little wristwatch stuck on the dashboard. I forgot to set it for the new time. So
That's all right.
I got an hour into it, I looked at the clock and went, oh my God.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay.
So if you're more convenient at the table, you can present there, or from the podium, whatever works best for you. Okay, sure. And what I'll do, I'll let you go through your presentation. We've got all your information here on the computer and up on the screen. We've got the tax cards, we've got all the information you've given to Crystal. So we'll follow with you. And then after you're done, we'll go through the tax cards, ask any questions we may have of you.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day today, we'll deliberate on each case and then notify you in writing by mail within 2 to 3 weeks' time of the decision,
Okay.
so.
Sounds good. And I appreciate it. There is one correction on the, Crystal, did you give the handout to everybody? On the very first page where it starts with ladies and gentlemen,
Got it.
just in the third paragraph down, it says, it has a figure that says 83.3% of my neighbor's value. You see that?
Yep.
That should be 16%. Math was never my best. All righty, so, and as I said when I came in, this should be about 12 minutes, and then any questions you guys have would be great.
Sure, sure.
One clarification too, though, is so you have an idea where our property is. We bought the land in 2003, and then we met a local builder, and we said, well, when can you start building? And he said, in about 2.5 years. I went, really? So he said, yeah. He said, I'm a small operation. So we said, we're not really in a hurry. So we didn't get into the house until 2006.
Okay.
When we bought it, if you're looking on your screen there, that white house sort of in the very middle of the screen, yep, that's us. And then we have two, yeah, that's the house and garage. And we have two lots. The one that is unoccupied is a second lot, but it's unimproved. So, and as you're coming across the bridge, head north, you'll see the properties on your right-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we're talking about.
This is High Bank right here.
Yep.
Yes, that's High Bank.
Yep.
And then that big, long crusher run driveway, that gray driveway, is mine.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
anyway, my name is David Coakley. This is a second home for us located in Whitestone, has a great view of the Norris Bridge. So I'll be back next Thursday for that meeting. I'm not really clear on the impact that this discussion will have on my property taxes and future plans, but I am making the 8-hour round trip from Maryland to significantly reduce, I hope, the 35% increase in my property taxes. Proposed property taxes. The house assessed value has gone up from the last time of $387,000 for the house to $702,000. That's quite a jump. It's an increase of over 55% since the last assessment. A report recently provided me by a local realtor shows the property values on nearby homes are dropping and that high asking prices are not being realized. That packet of information that I gave for you guys and ladies is, if you want to review it now, that's fine, but you might want to look at it later, you might want to just toss it out. But everything I'm saying is based on that backup stuff. So, so why did I invest in the Northern Neck 16 years ago? First of all, a friend who built a house in Kilmarnock talked my wife into it, well, although we love it. The main decision for me was low taxes, a slower pace, and a beautiful view of the bridge and the river. I was on the local committee to kill the Dominion Power Towers plan, thank God. On a practical level, today the property is to the immediate west of our home, that's the one towards High Banks, has 4.5 acres. It has the same view and it's taxed at a land value of $350,500. My 1.25 acre property is 28% of my neighbor's property size and is assessed at $292,600. So that doesn't make good sense to me. Anyway, it's 16% of my neighbor's value, but my evaluation is about the same on the land. I believe the two properties on the east side coming this way, I can't quite make them out, but coming this way, on the east side, are owned by a local family or trust. I think they're in a trust. One parcel is 20 acres in size, with water access and a view, and is taxed at a land value of $502,400, which is $25,000 per acre. So it is rated as farmland, but it does have access to the water. You can get to the water from it. Next door to it is a vintage residential property that's been in the family forever. Nice family, but it's on 4 acres and it's assessed at $303,000 total, house and land, same location, same view. There has been several year-long attempt to subdivide the 20-acre piece and to sell it, but I'm not sure that's going anywhere. Anyway, why did I invest in the Northern Neck 16 years ago? Low taxes. Number one, low taxes. My original plan of 16 years ago was to invest in Ocean City, Maryland, or Bethany Beach, Delaware. We chose the Northern Neck of Lancaster County because of the lower purchase prices and lower taxes. If the purpose of the proposed higher taxes by Lancaster County is because of the 12.8% increase to the school budget, up to $20,433,000. I'm frustrated with that. Not that it's of any value to you guys, but I have no children or grandchildren in need of schools. I do have children and grandchildren. I got 2 kids and 4 grandkids. I have literally invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in the Northern Neck when we built the property. 100% of the materials used in our house came from Lambert's Lumber Supply. 100% of the construction cost was paid to a local builder and his crew. He was great, Northern Neck Construction. 100% of the sales commissions were paid to a local realtor, Pat Lawler. I think she's retired. 100% of the driveway installation and property clearing was paid to Mal Ransone, so he loves me. 100% of the plumbing, electrical, roofing, brickwork, and pier construction was paid to local tradesmen. Interesting story, the guy who built the pier, he said, well, how deep is this? I said, I don't know. So he literally took his shirt off with a magic marker and he starts walking out into the water. And every time it got deeper, he put a line on his chest. And when he got out about 300 yards, he said, it's not getting any deeper. So anyway, it's interesting.
Welcome to the Northern Neck.
No good. Yep. So we actually love it here. It's just frustrating to have the tax issue coming up. I do have, this is important, I do have a buildable second lot adjacent to my house. It's that second lot on the picture. It is unimproved except for riprap. I just realized after the initial assessment meeting that Lancaster County is taxing the adjacent lot as improved. There is no building on that property. A garage is incorrectly assessed as being on that property, the vacant lot, but it's actually on the lot with our house. So that garage is not, is cited as being on the wrong lot. Okay. The garage is on the property with the house, which is lot 34212H. My general plan has always been to build another house for my children and grandchildren and future generations of my family to enjoy. But why would I build another house in Whitestone in the face of the proposed budget and the what I think are unfair property taxes? The answer is I wouldn't, and I won't build a second house there, even though it's a lot of money to the county. Number 5, we've made many friends here, which we enjoy. We're also friends with 3 other families who moved from Maryland to the Northern Neck 15 or so years ago for the same reasons we did. One has now moved away to Florida. One is leaving the Northern Neck in 3 years, and we're considering selling. It's a long 8-hour round trip for very few amenities other than the slow pace and the beautiful view. And now the proposed replacement of the Norris Bridge could significantly lower the value and view of my specific property. Getting close to the end here, folks. Thank you for your patience. The Northern Neck has a noticeably older population of retirees present. I don't know if anyone in this room is involved in the decision to raise property taxes, but the higher taxes could kill or impact certainly the appeal of the Northern Neck to people coming in from other states. The final suggestion, and this is apropos of virtually nothing except riprap, Here's the issue. According to a survey of our property that we had done right after we bought it, from 1955 through 2006, that's a 50-year period, our shoreline eroded at 6 inches a year. Over 50 years, that's 25 feet of property gone into the river. That's not making it up. That was from the surveyor. He said, you know, Mr. Coakley? I said, yeah, well, no now. So I installed riprap nobody else had riprap in my area. I installed riprap at a cost tens of thousands of dollars. Ask Malrance Zone. And I'm getting penalized for protecting the shoreline by taxing the riprap as an improvement to my property. I said, well, there's nothing on the property. He said, well, there's riprap. Yeah, because if there wasn't riprap, there wouldn't be property. So that just, this is just an opinion section here. But the unprotected property next door to our house that does not have riprap has lost, since we've been there, 8 feet of front yard property since 2006. If you multiply that by, say, 200 feet of frontage, that's a third of an acre, almost a quarter of an acre, I mean, almost half an acre gone in the river. Never tax that again. Homeowners who install riprap, here's the political thing I'm throwing in there, should receive a tax credit or even a rebate for the cost of the riprap. They should not be penalized for protecting and preserving the property. That's it. Thank you for your time. I hope that my assessment will be corrected to move that garage to where it's supposed to be, and my property taxes will never be higher than a fair cost of living increase. There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your
Thank you,
patience.
yes.
Thank you.
Let's look through the tax card and see what questions we may have.
So on the empty lot is 212F, is that correct?
Yes.
Right, one's H, one's F.
And just looking on the tax card here, all that I'm seeing for improvements is riprap. Yeah, is that?
Yeah, 13.6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, did you talk to the assessor initially about the garage?
I didn't, because when I came in to originally contest the appraisal, because I said, holy mackerel, that's a huge increase since the last appraisal. And I didn't realize, so I got the paper, I didn't realize that they were saying that my garage was on the other lot. I just realized that when I got all the paperwork here at the county, and I looked at 212H and 212F, and that garage is on 212F. It's not, which is, so I can see where you'd say, well, it's been improved, but it hasn't. It's not on that lot.
Do y'all see that?
Yeah, it's not on there.
No, on the current tax card, the only improvements on that property, F, is the riprap. I'll show you.
I'll look at the thing again.
There you go,
but
I'll show you this.
Oh, okay.
So, this is the new tax card. So the only improvements here is riprap. And if you had a shed or garage, that would be on there. I think their garage used to be on there. They had it on this property for 2018, but that was taken back off and put on H.
Oh.
Yeah.
So at least that's been corrected for you.
There you go. Well, you guys are good. That was quick.
For 212H,
H,
there's a disparity in the square footage.
All right, let's look
And
at
the
that.
new square footage is actually less than the old tax card,
Square footage of the lot?
of the structure.
Of the house.
The old card shows 3,242 square foot. The new one shows 3,066. Would there be a reason? And I was trying to do the quick math on the additions he's got here. And even if you include those, it's still not the same. Am I missing something? I'm
How
sorry.
far off is it?
Well,
Because, what it might be, probably is that we had the garage built about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. That garage was never there. And so we had it built, so maybe
Well, the garage is separate, so that's on additions, 576 square foot garage.
That sounds right.
We're talking about just the home itself.
There's been no changes to the house. I mean, zero.
which I would I would see if it increased, but it actually decreased. That's what didn't make sense.
That's just gotta be, that's just wrong, because the house has not changed
You
at
haven't-
all
you haven't
since
taken anything off there.
2006.
Okay.
So, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 1 half bath.
Master bedroom, upstairs, bedroom. And the baths are 1 bath, 2 baths, 3 full baths, 4 full baths, and a half bath.
Okay, that's right. Heat pump for heating, cooling,
Is what?
heat pump,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
And floors, carpet, vinyl, and hardwood,
Yep.
okay.
There's virtually no carpeting, actually.
No
It's
carpet?
all hardwood.
All right, we'll correct that. House was built in 2005,
Yep,
Okay.
we moved in March of 2006.
so we got riprap, generator, 20 by 30 garage, dock, bulkhead.
Is that the riprap?
No, it's separate. Do you have bulkhead as well?
I'm not even sure what a bulkhead is, to tell you the truth.
Bulkhead is either a block or a wooden wall at the shore's edge.
No.
You may have had
no,
one
I
at one
think
point in
I'm-
time, maybe
no,
that failed, and maybe you had the riprap after that?
Would it also be called a groin?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a
Okay,
jetty.
Yeah.
Then
There
we
it
do have
is.
some groins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every time I say something, my wife groins.
Let's see.
On the square footage, it looks like he corrected, or he made
Yeah.
a change from 1.6 to
Yep, to
1.5 on the
1.5.
stories.
That's, I was looking at that.
Sorry, thank
And
you.
that's where, oh, no, it's confusing the way
But
that
still, I
they,
don't think that would make a 200 square foot.
that's what I was trying to figure
I
out.
wouldn't
Is there
think
some
so
other
either.
area that is finished? That, I mean, I'm kind of comfortable just going with trusting the appraiser's number on there, because he definitely changed that, but it looked like whatever he did, he was doing on purpose. But usually you take that base area and you multiply it by.
Right, right. 0.5 or
that.
0.6.
Yeah, the base area is, well, once the foundation was in, there's no changes. It's on a crawl space, there's no basement.
That's it?
Is the space above the garage finished?
No.
Oh.
My
Yeah,
my
what is
son,
that?
my son gave that the old college try and said, heck, it's too much work.
You see on the, what is it, LAG? That should be, that's the area above the garage. They've got that as 420. Right?
That's just, we just, it's a
Storage?
bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out where that number
Came from.
came from.
Yeah.
2822 plus 420 is 3242. That must be where,
It was actually a little goofy when the builder was building it. I gave him the plans. I gave him the original plans, and he said, this house is exactly 1 foot too wide to fit within the setbacks.
Oh.
Great. So he said, but I have another plan that's pretty close to the same plan. I looked at it, I said, it really is, it's almost the same house, just do that one. So he did that one. But that one had, apparently, the second floor, you know, how people have cathedral ceilings, so the living room goes all the way up to the roof of the house.
Right.
So I came down one day to see how the construction was coming along, and I walked in, and John said, you know, upstairs is coming along good. So I went up the stairs, and there's no, you get to the top of the stairs, and there's a little, like, balcony looking down into the kitchen and the living room. I said, why isn't there a room here? He said, well, because it's on the plan as a balcony. I said, John,
Put a room in.
I said, if I missed it, I missed it, but one of us missed it. It's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be a room.
Sure.
You come up the stairs, you walk in a room.
Oh, yeah.
Bedroom here, bedroom there.
Oh.
So he filled it in with the room, so.
Right.
And it's great, because the grandkids come, that they can sit in that room and watch TV or whatever they want to do. It worked out great.
Right.
But it was confusing for a while.
Yeah, good catch.
Your garage has dormers up there, above the garage.
That's the third bedroom.
Okay, so there is square footage
Yes,
above.
yes,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Looks like my house. Yeah, if you go up the stairs are to the right of that Palladian window. Get to the top of the stairs, there is the loft bedroom for typically the grandkids, then a bedroom for my son and his family, my son and his wife, a bedroom for my daughter and her husband, and then the big room for the kids to hang around in.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So I think the 3,066 is okay, since that's what he changed it to, the assessor. So that kind of works in your favor, actually.
Yeah.
It sounds bad. I haven't even thought about that in years, but I remember thinking, some friend came and said, "Boy, Dave, how big is this?" I said, "It's about 3,000 feet."
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But the jump in price per square foot
Yeah.
from 78 to 171.
Yeah.
Bill was a great guy. His son cut our grass for the next 8 years, I think. So we really enjoyed it here. It's just I'm having trouble getting my brain around the tax structure. It's
just,
more than my house in Baltimore, which is, it's a nice house and everything. But I'm going, one time I'm not real good necessarily all the time with figures and stuff, but the one time I was looking at our insurance bill from USAA, and I said, the insurance on this house is more than the insurance on our house in Baltimore. And they said, well, it's nice. It's a nicer house. It's custom. I said, it's not custom. I said, it's a local builder built it. I said, it's got masonite, it's got wooden floors, drywall walls. The kitchen is nothing to sing about, but it's functional. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's not granite countertops and all that stuff. I said, oh, we thought you had granite countertops. I said, no. And this is 10 years after I had been paying insurance to USAA for that house. And so I said, no, I said, how come you have it down as being custom? They said, we think you told us it was custom. I said, it was built by one guy and 2 assistants. Nothing fancy in it. The windows are Anderson windows. And they said, okay, well, we'll change your insurance. I said, great. How about, can you change it from like the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They said, no, can't do that, but going forward, we're going to change it. So I went,
Good gracious.
but that's life in the big city. We do love the house, it really is, and we like the area, and we made, when I got on that committee that did the
Towers.
towers thing, made a lot of really good friends that we still see a lot. We don't see the guy who headed it up, because he's not with us anymore, but,
Good pilot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carl Smith.
Carl, yeah.
Yep, great guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to hold you up, well.
I'll just,
not hold you up.
a comment on the tax part of it. We don't know what the taxes are gonna be for your property. But I don't know, what the county was required to do was to publish the equalized tax rate. So the old tax rate was 63 cents. If they were to raise the same amount of revenue this year as they did last year, the tax rate would be 46 cents. Now, they're gonna set it at whatever they need to set it at in order to raise enough revenue. But I think the chances of it continuing to be 63 cents are very close to zero. I doubt it'll be back to 46 cents, because I'm sure they'll need to raise more money for inflation and other things that they're doing.
Right.
But that is a common thing that we're hearing, the way that notice reads. It kind of makes it sound like that is what your taxes are being raised to, but we won't know
Sure did.
but we don't know what the taxes are until they set the rate, which happens in the springtime, so sometime in April or May, they'll actually set the rate, and at that point, you'll know. Our job is just to make sure that similar properties are assessed similarly, so that people are sharing an equal tax burden. And that information that you provided, we'll look at the neighboring properties and kind of see how those look compared to yours.
Well, I appreciate it. I think the number that I saw when I was looking at the notice that I got from the county was something like an increase in the tax. I kind of thought it was a concrete number, $2,500 a year increase. You know, I'm putting like $600 a month aside for taxes for our house anyway.
Sure.
You know, I'm thinking, holy mackerel, if it goes up another third, that's like a couple $100 a month. And I was just, thought, that's a stretch.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it says here, and it's caused a lot of, it says county tax levy, that number. And it does, actually it does say down here, the levy shown may not be the levies that were billed. Oh, I guess that's different. But we don't know what the taxes are gonna be. That'll be the Board of Supervisors, and I saw in your packet that you've written them a letter or two, so hopefully that got through.
I sent a letter to the governor. I went, are you? So, they got back a thing that said, thanks for writing to us, talk to your representative.
Right,
So, well,
right.
that's not gonna happen. My representative. But I do appreciate your time. I felt like I really needed to come down and
Absolutely. Well, thank you for doing it.
talk
Yeah,
about it. So,
Yeah.
sure.
have a nice lunch.
And we are going to take all the information you provided and dive into, both the land and the improvement value too, to see what changes might need to be made.
I appreciate it, and I mean, I did go to a realtor. I said, well, what are property values doing? And she gave me a whole lot of information, which was good, but some of the, like in that, what's it called, one down?
The High Banks one, I did
High
see
Banks.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's sold.
I don't think that it's sold for that. Did you see that in there,
It did.
David?
It sold twice in
Which one?
like 18 months, and it sold, I think the person who bought it paid like $700,000 for it, and then it sold somebody for $500, and a year later it sold for $350. I went, yikes.
Yeah.
think
And
so.
I'm
High
also
Bank?
thinking,
Yeah,
I've never owned one for that little.
yeah,
We
that
just
seems.
we just
I
closed
know
on one for
75.
575, yeah.
could've been-
Mr. Blanks.
I actually included the thing in the package there somewhere for,
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
That's interesting.
And really, I mean, High Bank's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah,
It's apples and oranges.
It is.
I mean, only similarity is the view.
right.
yeah.
That's-
And my wife, when we came down, we looked at it, because they were just building it that year.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, we'd kind of rather not be in the middle of, a lot of people, so.
And having an HOA and all that stuff, yep.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's a funny story. So one day, I was down there, and it's 1.25 acres, just the house, the lot with the house on it. And so I'm down there pushing a push mower, and I'm sweating bullets. It was hot, and I thought, no one can see me, so I took off my pants. Finished cutting the lawn, it was nice. Since that time, I've hired a guy to come do the grass. Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down, buddy. And
Have a safe trip.
within 2 to 3 weeks' time, you will get a letter in the mail from the county with our decision on your case. So it's not one of these things where you come, present, and then hope you hear back from somebody. You will get a letter from us.
And I appreciate it, and I'm confident it'll be a fair decision. You're nice guy, nice folks, and I just wanted to come down and get my piece out there.
Sure, sure. And your mailing address is the 5 Delwood Court, Hunt Valley, Maryland?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that's where we will send our notification to.
All righty, thanks very much.
Safe trip back. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too.
All right.
Thanks again, man. Thank you for your-
All right, bye-bye.
Nice to meet you, too. Take care.
Lunchtime?
Yes. Yes, let's go grab some lunch.
When does Beth typically take lunch, Crystal? It's good, this kind of depends every day what's going on.
12 to 4.
Did you go to lunch too? Did you go?
It was late. It was late.
Yes, and if it was.
Jesus.
All right, I'm gonna go grab a drink out of my car.
I don't think all of them leaves.
Did you stay here all night?
I've been here a lot. And I'm over here this weekend.
Oh goodness, what's going on this weekend?
I have to, I've got other stuff.
You gotta
to do
make up all the
besides,
time that,
yeah.
yeah, remember that from last time?
Yeah, and at some point, I gotta get the orders together for January.
Well, at this rate, you only got like 6.
Yeah, it's not
We
like we're
gotta,
bamboozling you.
Yeah.
we gotta roll through some of these things, but.